How's it going? What you been up to? So guess what? I got another guest. Another guest on today. A really good friend of mine. His name is Max Cannon. He's a local Idaho filmmaker. I know local, like most people would be like, why do you need to say that, man? We're all from Idaho. I don't know, I just throw that in there just in case someone from like New York's listening. You never know, okay? So yeah, I got him in, and we just did an I48, which is if you don't know what I48 is, it's Idaho. It's an Idaho 48-hour film competition that they put on every year. And we occurred some issues on set together, and we addressed them while we were on set. And I just wanted to bring him in so we could talk a little bit more about it and just kind of talk about the process of what it's like to do an I48. And it's so much fun as a filmmaker to put together a story in like almost a day and then try to tell that story and then put it out there for people to watch and hopefully enjoy. So yeah, we talked about a bunch of different things. I mean, I48, just films in general, how we worked on a feature film last summer together on, and it was just a blast having him in here. And so yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. Please welcome Max Cannon. Sweet, man.
I'm really happy with it. The stuff if I would change anything, it'd probably be like maybe I would change a little bit of the stuff in between the opening shot and the shot in my apartment. That's like the only stuff that like just feels a little iffy to me. But everything else I'm over the moon about.
So what would you change about the opening sequence?
Chase and I had like an initial idea kind of in our head, but it was like very dialogue driven, and we were like trying to think of ways to do it silently. And the original idea was it was going to lean really hard into comedy for it, but it was going to be like them sitting in a coffee shop and she just hears a bunch of people talking about just a bunch of like just nonsense around her, but it gets really, really loud. Like the people talking, it's just like unbearably loud at one point.
Okay.
And we were like, well, realistically for I48, our time is better spent procuring the forest location than focusing on getting like a coffee shop, because that would take a while, and then we need to get not just extra actors, which we had Dinesh on backup, which I was grateful for, but I was like, in addition to getting him, we would need a bunch of extras. And I'm like it's just not worth it. Like now if we had time, it would be. And so we may have still made the right call, because I think it's better that we had like just a kick-ass like climax than having like if the beginning teeters a little bit, but if I had to pick one over the other, I'd rather, especially because like if this was a YouTube video, maybe I'd feel different because you want to hook somebody in. But if I'm talking about like the theater, like they're already there, they already have to watch it.
They're not going to be able to do anything.
Exactly. And so I'd rather leave them with something they're thinking about if they're going to definitely watch it regardless.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because how long is that opening scene?
The opening shot is 30 seconds.
Opening shot.
And I wouldn't change that. I love
30
that.
seconds.
I'm thrilled with that.
So 30 seconds, if you think about that, a person's attention span is like 5 to 7 seconds. So they're going to be staring at the screen for like triple that amount.
Exactly. They got to sit there and they just going to be like,
you're going to start hearing whispers.
I want to hear whispers, maybe some like nervous laughter. I doubt I'll hear that, but the whispers I'll definitely be like,
what's going on? Why is it just sitting?
Or they probably won't say that. They'll probably be like, so do you want to go get like dinner after?
Well, are we going to be at the beginning or the end of
or the final one?
Really?
Yeah, we're the final one.
Oh, that's interesting.
Which makes me happy because one of the very first ones Chase and I ever did, we it was like a thriller suspense thing, and it kind of makes me cringe now, but I think that's because I was the main actor in it. And we went with this like serial killer that like kills people like religiously because he thinks he's like helping people.
Oh, okay.
But he only does it if they like he tortures them to like the point where they're like they ask him to kill him because like he wants them to choose it. But he like basically forces them to choose it, Right. And the ending was he is about to like kill this person and they get away. I think it's been so long. And they get away and it like flips out and is like the last shot is me like flipping out, and then it's like a shot of me like in the shower, like all like wearing my clothes and everything, and which sounds really funny now, but and it's implied that I'm gonna kill myself, Like
Oh,
that,
okay.
like the guy, like the character, he's like, I'm going to be selfish for once. And the point is that he's going to kill himself. And it was really cool though, because the audience afterwards was like silent. And I was like, nice. Like,
yeah,
like,
that's what you want.
like people like, and when people applaud, I won't say nobody, but people don't like typically applaud like begrudgingly, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think with stuff like I48, people will applaud just to be like, all right, it's done. Like, that's what we do. And so it's nice to like have a moment where people forget that. Like people forget like the etiquette of it all. Cause everyone's like, whoa. And we were DQ'd that year. So it didn't really go anywhere, but a lot of people came and talked to us afterwards.
So what was your genre and why did you get disqualified?
I mean, our genre was thriller, but we were disqualified because we were just late. Well, actually, we were late because Chase on his MacBook Pro, he had installed a bunch of new RAM, and one piece of that RAM was bad, and it crashed his computer. It was a struggle to edit, but we got everything edited, and it was ready, and it crashed on the way back. Oh, and so we went to the Apple store, and we spent a long time doing like recon to like get that thing out, and we finally got it out, and it was just too late. And so it's it screened at the Flicks, which was cool, but showing that, seeing something at the Egyptian, like that was like the thrilling part for me.
Right.
That's just really cool.
Well, I had the opportunity to do a short film in October, the i48. And we didn't screen at the Flicks first. We went to the Egyptian right away and screened it there.
Oh, that's
so
right.
I had that opportunity right away, which was pretty cool. Unfortunately, it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. It was just, 48-hour film competitions are difficult. Yeah. Extremely difficult. I'm happy I jumped right into it, before I even got a year under my belt. Yeah,
I think it's a good call because they're hard. Like, it's very easy to see how everything could just fall apart. Like when somebody's goes badly, it's like, it's obviously a competition, so like, you want to succeed in it. When somebody goes badly, I'm always like, I always feel bad because I'm like, that easily could have been me, because like I just lucked out this time, right? You know what I mean? Like, it's just a matter of like, I thought of the right idea at the right second, and that person may have been 2 seconds too late, and it just dominoed until everything just wasn't happening.
Right. Yeah, it was rough. It can be rough.
Well, what was describe like what your troubles were with that one, and then we can talk about this one, most recent one. So I'll talk about my H48 as well.
Okay, yeah. Because yours was awesome, man.
I'm pretty thrilled with mine.
Yeah, I was really impressed. The one I did was called Jester. And that was during the time where the clown epidemic was happening. So we kind of wanted to jump on that train. And I just got a bunch of people to commit to come on to set and do it with me. A lot of them were like family members and friends who had never done it at all. I just wanted them to come and participate and see what it's like. That was a terrible idea. Yeah. There were some people who were amazing that participated, like my brother, my sister, my friend Chase, and a couple others. But everyone else was just kind of standing around, and some people didn't want to do it after so long. Like I had one friend who showed up with alcohol. He's like, all right, let's party.
And you're like, sorry, bud, this is time to work.
Yeah, no, we're not going to do that. And then he was playing a clown, like one of the main ones. And he was there for the first night, and then he didn't want to come back. So I had to replace him with somebody else. And we had all that footage, and we're like, well, we need you, dude, because you're the main one.
Well, that guy's not working on stuff anymore.
Never again.
Yep.
And I don't think he'll want to either, because he just didn't expect that. But yeah, I think I committed too much with trying to give everyone a position, and I was overwhelmed. And then the story fell apart at the beginning. I mean, we had a writer to come and help us out, and he bailed on us after 2 hours of writing. And so
that's a bummer.
We tried working with what we had, and then we had to rewrite it the next morning. And then we got disqualified too because we turned it in late. Oh, the upload took way longer than we expected to.
Dude, that's what always gets you. I always say, like, give yourself like an hour of time, and that's more or less what we had this time, because like something could just happen, and you're just like, ooh, it's rough.
Yeah. And we made the mistake of making it too dark. It was so dark. Some of the lines were super cheesy. And I figured out one thing. I always wondered why they don't kill the creepy little girl in scary movies. Why do they never do that? So I decided to do it, and then realized why you don't do it. It's so bad.
Why don't you do it? Because there's just too much?
it's so cheesy.
Yeah.
Like if you kill a little girl who's like creepy, like it throws the whole thing off.
I think too, when you talk about like in horror movies too, when there's like a creepy little girl, they're typically like very like omniscient. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like you're not gonna be able to kill them. I wonder
Right.
if that's like what ties in. It's kind of like if you were like if you saw The Ring or The Grudge and they just like immediately like
Yeah.
you're like, oh well, we did it.
Yeah, now it's over.
Movie's over, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I learned never ever do that again. But I had a lot of fun, dude, and everyone that participated I think had a lot of fun, and it was so difficult because you just wanted to give everyone creative freedom, and you really have to take charge. And I did that towards the end, where I was like, throughout the whole thing, I was like giving everybody their freedom, and at the very end, I'm like, no, this is how we're doing it, and we're getting it done, and then we're going home.
Yep.
And that ended up being the best scene of the whole movie, in my opinion. And so yeah, it was difficult. It was fun though.
Is that whenever I end up making a film, like when I like run, I always come away with like one like big like lesson. I feel like every time. What would you say your biggest one from that one is?
It's a good question. I'd say two things. One, don't overcommit. Not overcommit. Don't promise people anything. That's the biggest thing, which I learned on this last one. Because I was getting in my own head on this last one. We'll go into that.
Oh yeah.
And then the second one would be maybe three. Take charge. And then ask me the question one more time.
So everything I film, like I always walk away with like some lesson. Like one of like my earlier films, my lesson, I was like, your script needs to be perfect before you hit the road. Like that was one of the things I learned. And so any feature, I haven't made a feature yet, but any like short, anything I tackle, I'm always thinking like that idea is always in the back of my head, and I carry it forward everywhere. And like I had a project too where I learned that same thing. It was one of my first big things I made with Chase. It was called My Life, the movie. And one of the biggest things with that was I was like, you gotta like commit. Like you gotta go all in on stuff. You can't like, and that is kind of like take charge as well. Like I was like, you can't like half-ass this.
Right.
Like you can't like be like fully in one day and the next be like, oh yeah, you know what I mean? And if you are in, you gotta put a like, yeah face like on, you know? And so it seems like with that one though, like taking charge was a big like message for you, like that you walked away from with it, you know?
Yeah, that was the
that's
biggest one, I
that's your
think.
first like thing you did by yourself, really. Like once you started taking it professionally, you know, like as a job.
Right.
Yeah. So that's, I mean, in that context, just doing it is impressive. You know what I mean? Like doing it and like being there and really like commanding everything, you know, because then the next one you hit, you see what to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know exactly what not to do and what to do.
Exactly.
So yeah, I guess don't get in your own head. Take charge. Don't promise anybody anything on, especially things that you're not getting paid for.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And you know, something that needs to be turned in right away.
Yep.
And I think that's it, man.
That's good though.
I learned a lot. Let's just say that. And there's probably not one thing that I could take away from that. So
that's rad, dude.
Yeah.
That makes me really happy. Like to hear that, like, because that's the attitude you want to have with this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like I48, H48, all of them, they're easy to walk away from really pissed. You know what I mean? Like it's easy to walk away and be like, fuck, can I curse?
Yes.
Okay. after I just shouted that in there.
Yeah.
But you know, it's easy to walk away and just be like, that sucked. And it's so like to walk away and be like, that sucked. Why? I'm not going to suck like that again.
Yeah.
Like is always the message I would say to walk away from with everything. But like I48 condenses it all so, excuse me, it condenses it all so quickly that that's like, if I had to like come up with the message of everything, that's like what I think the most important thing to walk away from is. Yeah,
I agree, man. This one was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I had a blast. Looking back on it, I'm like, man, that was really impressive what we were able to accomplish. At the beginning of it, I was upset because you and we discussed doing the creative part of it at the beginning, you know, writing, brainstorming and all that. And I wasn't really a part of that. And so I was upset, but like I said before, can't get in your own head about these things.
Well, and I'm glad we found like a time in between to like talk it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because here I realize when you're mad, you say we'll talk later, because you told me a story about you saying that to somebody else, and so when you said it to me, I was like, oh no. But I understood. You know what I mean? I think that's why like that's why it like impacted me so much to know you're upset, because I was like, he's upset and I know exactly why, and I feel really bad about it. But I think that's why like we discussed, which is really important too, because one of the biggest things I walked away from with this is to make your expectations really clear. And my presumption, which was obviously wrong, was I was like, okay, I didn't see it like you saw it better than I could have hoped for. Like, you saw it as like, this is our project we're working on. And I was so in my own head and just closed-minded about it that I was like, this is my project that Ricky's being kind enough to lend his time to. Okay. And so I was like, the best course of action is to let Ricky go home for the night, and I'll figure this out so he can just be with his wife and have rest and everything. And then when you messaged me back, I was like, I was immediately like, shit. I was like, well, I totally misread that. Well, and it was after we'd talked about.
I just mentioned like, hey man, I thought we were going to be part of the writing process together.
Well, and it was almost like that like thing immediately, because I just read into it, like it like flipped my switch. I was like, fuck, I was wrong. And we were out scouting our location in Idaho City. And so I just started like just texting you frantically, and since there's no service, it all just like, I was like, I'm like, I'm not gonna see any of his responses, so it's gonna be like 2 hours that I just get more worried and he just gets more angry, if that's, you know, in my head, if that's the case.
Yeah, I didn't mean to do that. Like, I didn't want to make you upset.
No, but like, I'm clear. I really respect, especially in like the film industry, like especially at like in like the tiny level that Boise is. I really respect like when somebody just says that they're upset about something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, and to know like that time and place, I think is really important. So like making it clear right away, I think was really good, because that, I think, put us on good footing for the rest of the entire thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, and I think like any like contention between everybody, it just happened. Just, I don't know. It was something that just was from like our perspectives, everything at the beginning. And I think it was good. Like, I think also it comes from the nature of I48. Everyone's on no sleep and rushed, and everyone's stressed. And I think what Chase and I had come up with was like really, it's obviously it's not really as abstract, but it's definitely like odd. Yeah. And I think when people are filming it with us, everyone is like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? Like, I think people like would be a little confused. Like they're like, they get it, but like, like, I think it turned out, I'd hoped that when people saw the edit, they were like, oh, that's way better than what I thought it was going to be like.
Yeah. So we'll just explain what I48 is and what our story's about without giving away too much. So yeah, what is I48, and let's go into detail on like what our story was about and what genre we got.
So I48, Idaho 48-hour film festival, is it happens yearly, but there are spinoffs, like you and I had taken part in the H48 last year. That was my first year doing that as well. And that one's horror themed, but the premise is you have 48 hours starting from Friday at 6 to Sunday at 6 to turn in a completed film that you start from scratch. They give you a line of dialogue, a prop, and a genre, and you just have to fit all that in within that short space. And our genre was silent film. Our prop was a spoon rest, because we were in the open category. There's also a novice category, and I believe theirs were like noise canceling, like earmuffs, like a shooting range.
Okay.
And I think I can't speak to what their line of dialogue was. And our line of dialogue was, "Are you ready for this?"
Which is a really good thing to work around.
Yeah, well, there have been some really rough ones in the past.
Yeah.
Like last year's I hated, where it's always been about you and your messed up little world.
Yeah, that was so hard.
I was like, this line sucks. But I mean, I've been thinking about it though. I've been like, that's really hard to come up with a line that like works like that for everybody. You know what I mean? And Are You Ready for This was perfect. A few years ago with the one that Chase and I had won second for, and we won best sound and music. The line was "just a bump in the road," and I was like, "That's all right." Like, this is probably my favorite one we've gotten. But
this one so far,
that's my favorite line. Like I was like, perfect. Yeah, and I think we did a good job the way we put it in too.
Oh yeah,
the way we snuck it in worked really well. Oh, the version I sent you as well. This is like a sidebar, really quick. I I put a Gaussian blur over it,
Okay.
and so it looks so much better.
Oh,
it looks like
you.
a million times better. So
Good.
the one in theaters sadly won't have that, but the one we put online will.
Oh, good. And we'll do a second podcast if you're available, and we'll talk about the winners of I-48 and then where we can find yours.
Yeah.
If you end up signing on with like Cinematica or something like that, then people will have to sign up with it. But I don't know.
Who knows?
We'll see.
I mean, I like supporting stuff like that because it's local, but
right.
I don't know. I just like putting stuff out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't like putting it behind a paywall, but I haven't made enough stuff that's worth being behind a paywall yet to really have a valid opinion on that yet.
Yeah.
One day.
That's what I was thinking too. Like some of the not original, but the past winners, they end up getting some sort of contract with like a Cinematica, which is like a smaller version, like an indie version on Netflix, that's local in Idaho. And so I wasn't there for Anthony Blaine's I-48 winner. What was it called again? Do you remember?
I don't think I took part that year. I've taken
I'm sorry, H48.
Take 23.
Take 23. So I've never watched that.
Take 23 was fantastic.
And that's what I keep hearing, but they signed a thing with Cinematica where you can find it on there, but I've never...
Not to sound like a promo on Cinematica, but it's free on Cinematica.
Is it really?
Yeah, I watched it the other night because I wanted to watch it again.
Oh, snap. Oh, yeah, I'm going to have to check it out.
Dude,
I didn't know that.
It's really good. Like, like, I know people that, like, I feel like they were, like, petty about it. They're like, it wasn't even that good. But I was like, you guys are fucking liars. Take 23 was...
You guys are haters.
Well, it sucks that... local Anthony Blaine rant sidebar, because that guy's really good.
Yeah, he is.
It was a bummer that he bounced out when Take 23, I think, was his best thing he's made yet. I'll be real with you. I think it was his best thing. And so it's a bummer that like he chose to like roll out when he did, because I was like, you did it. I was like, this is fantastic. Like even if this wasn't 48 hours, I would still be like, this was awesome. You should he should really be proud of that. Because I'm a very picky guy about what I like, and I walked out of Take 23, and I was like, "There's no question that guy wins."
Really?
I knew it.
So if he didn't win, you'd be like, "What the f? Like, why did he not win?"
Yeah, pretty much. I think like ours. So we'll go back a little bit because I know we're getting a little jumbled, but
that's right.
Our H48, the one that I'd done.
Yeah.
We our genre was possession. Our line of dialogue was that awful one we talked about earlier. And I don't think there was a prop actually for it. I don't think there was a prop for H48, which actually is pretty nice.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah,
it was just genre and then, well, not genre and
line
horror.
Well, it's like a subgenre because it's horror. And so like,
and line of dialogue.
What was your subgenre? Slasher or?
Slasher,
yeah. Ours was possession.
Okay.
And
I really wanted possession.
I would have taken any. Actually, you know what's funny? I really wanted slasher.
Did you really?
So I was kind of convinced. So for years, for I-48, I've wanted to do a mockumentary about the sound guy. So like the opening shot is like this like shot of like a very cinematic movie, and then the camera like zooms out, and the sound guy is like mouthing the words like off camera, like someone's like professing his love, and you can hear him like, "I love you so much." Like, and like, cut, we can hear it, and if we can hear it, you can hear it. And he's like, "Oh, sorry guys," and it's just a mockumentary about the sound guy,
right?
About how like he has like this line where he's like, people think of me as a sound guy, but really I think of myself as a talent. And
I'm really the actor.
And
I want to be an actor, right?
And so with H48, I was like, I want to do mockumentary. Like I just wanted to do it with this because I bowed out from I-48 for a couple years, just because I was working on other stuff, and it was always and I do video game stuff, and E3's this time of year, so E3 is this weekend.
Oh wow!
And I always like am like just exhausted because I have to write so much stuff for E3 during the weekend, and so with I-48, it's typically nicer to bow out, but I was just like lately I've been like I got to do it again, and but with this H48, we went into a mockumentary about a girl that was possessed, and I think the only thing I would change about that is I would put a joke in immediately because people think it's a serious mockumentary,
Oh, gotcha.
Like, and I feel like halfway through it becomes clear that it's funny on purpose. But with I-48's quality ranging from like Anthony Blaine fantastic to like Kids Zone, which is nothing to knock them. I love that kids do it. Like I love that, but it's hard for the audience to gauge like what they should be able to laugh at.
Right.
And so I was like, I should have put a joke in there immediately. So people go, this is okay to laugh at because it's good, not because we're laughing at it because the quality's there. And
that's a really good point.
And so I, but so the premise of it was, just a girl that's possessed and like a documentary crew is following her. And the crew is like trying to get, like, is pushing her to the edge. The way you like push like talent to the edge, and the talent is like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I'm tired. And they're like, just one more shot. And what she ends up doing for the last shot, she just kills them. And so we just want to go office style with it. And I'm actually really proud of it. I think, behind this, it's behind our I48 thing, it's actually my favorite thing I think I made.
Right on, man. Yeah, you should be proud of it. It's really good.
I'm really happy. But my slasher mockumentary was going to be so good. It was my buddy Brandon Sullivan's idea. And we just fleshed it out, and we were like, man, we don't have slashers. We got to stop talking about it. But we like planned the whole thing out.
Oh, man. Yeah.
And the idea was like a Friday the 13th like Jason character.
Okay.
And he's like we had the idea that it was like June 6th. Like, so it opens with like newspaper shots like killings on June 6th, or like 30 teens die on June 6th. And the documentary crew's like, so what do you do the rest of the year? He's like, oh, well, actually, like the 6th, I'm obviously busy. I'm full. But the rest of the year, that generates enough income that I'm able to just relax. And it's like shots him like working out like in his garden. He has like a sun hat on, and he's like trimming his like bushes and stuff. And then like a kid like throws a frisbee, accidentally lands on like a rose and like smushes it. And he's like, but sometimes like, old habits die hard. And it's like him like murdering some kid for like stepping on his plants. And,
oh my gosh.
And like there'd be shots of like him like sitting like in like a interview shot, like in a chair, like, oh yeah, so Freddie and I, like he has like a portrait of like Freddie in his hand that he's like rubbing with his fingers, like we've grown distant.
Yeah.
But that's one day we'll do that, I think.
Definitely.
But we'll get into this one. So
okay, yeah.
This I48, what Chase and I were talking about was, we were like, we want to open up with a shot of just like the most uncomfortable thing that the audience just has to look at. Like, it's almost like the audience is like held hostage, but it's not like oh, I don't want to look at this horror like thing, because this obviously isn't a horror thing, but it's like I don't want to look at this because it's so uncomfortably long, or it's boring, and they literally have to like be aware of their own like attention for like 10 seconds. Because I know I'm like that a lot, or like,
right.
or like literally I was just holding my phone and it went off right in the mic because I just fidget so badly with my phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm too good to get a fidget thing.
You're too good. Just get one, man. You don't have to get one of those. Just get like
I get the cube if I got it.
The cube, yeah.
But
it's so funny because my buddy Brandon, who was on last, he asked me, he's like, do you have a fidget spinner?
Do you?
Yeah, no, I don't have one, but I should probably get one. I have cousins that play with them all the time, and they're fun. But he was the same way. Like, he would fidget a lot. And when Devontae and I first started doing it, we found ourselves like that too.
Yeah. The
cool thing about podcasting is that it keeps you from distractions. It keeps you engaged in the conversation.
Yeah. It's nice too when you have like, I learned this actually running sound on that feature we did together. It's crazy when you have like the headphones on and you can hear everything so precisely. It changes what you pay attention to. Yeah. Like, I can hear you very clearly right now, so anything you say, I'm gonna like hinge on your every word. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so that's actually ties into why we wanted, because Chase has a background in sound, and we were like, with this I48, we wanted to go heavy like on sound. We wanted to make that sound like pop really well. And I think we did. Like, I think it sounds really good. I think so too. Like, when we went out that first night to do Idaho City stuff, we also put you saw his dual mic, his like stereo recordings he was doing. Yeah. We went and did that night too, and we mixed some of that in. And it was awful. That's why we were so like we need bug spray, because we went up there and we got destroyed. Oh, okay. When we went up there the night before, we got destroyed that Friday night.
Mosquitoes and stuff?
Yeah. And we were up, we recorded like for maybe, like we hiked up to that spot, which, it's not much of a hike, but it's like a little difficult to get there with all the gear. Right. Yeah. And we were up there for like maybe 8 or 9 minutes, and I was like, we got to get out of here now. Like, this is bad. This is terrible. Yeah. Yeah. And I got bit like 9 times on my back, and I had bug spray. I know. I have some stuff all over my shoulders and arms. Like, it's, I hate mosquitoes. Yeah. But what we wanted to go, aside from that opening shot, then our next thing was we were like, thematically, we really want to discuss like the kind of people that like say like society sucks, man. Like everything sucks. And so I'd say like the theme of our thing is like, is it really that bad? Not just like society, but like everything in general. Like, is it really that bad? Like it can get way worse. And so like, and I say this like as like, you know, like an American that lives like a reasonably nice life, like where I play video games and make movies, you know, like.
Yeah, I would say you're living the dream, man.
And I would too. Don't tell my hospital people that, or they'll be like, well, see you later. We're done with the third job too. Technically my first. But we wanted like the idea of it to be like all those people that just like hate society and are like, this sucks and this sucks. And I'm like, you know, like it sucks for like other people. There are people living in like, you know, like third world countries and their life sucks. And you know, that's terrible for them. And so like, well, we're complaining about like this kind of stuff. And we're like, you know, we live in a world where we complain for other people, you know what I mean? Which is noble, I think, but I think it's like misguided, you know, like the idea is like this character, even though you don't see it, like, even though she doesn't say it outright, I think it's pretty clear that she's just like annoyed with everybody. Like she's annoyed with people and she's annoyed with everyone. And so she bounces, you know what I mean? So she rolls out. She's like, I'm done. And she's like, I'm going to go just like, it's clear. I don't think she's like living in the woods, you know what I mean? But she's like, I'm going to just like take a day or something to get away from it all. Yeah. And basically that day just goes badly for her. Right. You know? Yeah, I'm pretty proud of that climax.
Me too.
It's loud.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And
the sound effects.
Annie Below gave like a 10 out of 10 performance.
Oh yeah.
It was like so uncomfortable. You remember that shot where we all like gasped because we thought she like messed herself up? Yeah. Yeah, she's great.
She screamed at the top of her lungs. Oh man. And I was like looking around like people are going to think that we're murdering somebody over here.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Oh man. But what was funny is that I think we should definitely talk about this, is the biggest hurdle for us in terms of like actually shooting, not like the pre-planning stuff, was when we were at that location. We finally got there after we'd scouted out the night before. The dirt bikers were around us. Oh yeah. And so we like hiked up to that spot and we drove up there just fine. Like we didn't see, like there were some signs, but those signs were there the night before. Maybe not. There was one that said go and that one wasn't there, but there were these arrows and they were there. And then as we got over there, dirt bikers must have been like having like a time trial or a race or something. And they were just driving around us in circles for like, it had to have been like 2 hours. Yeah. Yeah. And luckily they stopped, and really luckily, because we're where we were, you could get like, there'd be at least like pockets of like a minute or two where there'd be like silence. Yeah. Like maybe you'd hear it for like a flash, but it was enough that we could work around it, I think, especially doing silent, because most of it's not synchronized sound, you know, because we wanted to fit within the genre.
Well, that's what I was wondering about while we were on set. I'm like, I was thinking, why is everyone so upset? Because didn't you guys come up the night before and get sound?
We did, but like it's nice to get like the rustle of her jacket or like her breathing and stuff and like just mess with it. So like we put it in, but maybe it's not synchronized, you know, and we do that a couple times like throughout, where you hear that stuff, but it's not like timed anything. And so I think like if somebody really wanted to be like picky and like fight with us, they could be like, that's not a silent film. But I don't think the people that run I48, that's what they're out to do. You know what I mean? Right. Like they're not out to like, they already know our intent. I think our intent is really clear. I don't think they're out to like get anybody, you know? I don't think they mean to do that maliciously.
Well, the idea of silent film, I think the first thing that goes in your mind is
black and white.
And
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Which would be, in today's age, you're not going to win anything with that, man. Well, unless you do it really, really well.
Well, I think the reason you wouldn't win anything with that is it's so overdone. It's like the fact that you and everybody thinks that immediately. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like if I saw someone did silent and like they did that, not to knock anybody that may do that, but I'd be like, you went with the first idea you had, more or less. If I was to do something like that, I would open with that for like a minute or 30 seconds or something that's like really like stereotypical, and then I would find a way to like turn it on its head. Like maybe it's someone that makes those kind of movies or something like that. I don't know. Right. Just something so people think it's like, oh, this is some boring old regular stuff, and then they're like, oh, you duped me.
Gotcha.
But I'm interested to see what everyone else comes up with.
Me too, man. There was a lot of competition this year. I mean, read off some of those.
Let's see who we got. I'm trying to see who I know. Like I've heard the name Monkey Fu Films before. I bet I'd recognize them if I'd seen them.
Monkey Fu. I've never heard of most of those names. I've never heard of before.
I've definitely heard Clam City before. Airtight Glass is Haley Janotis, who is our villain for i48. She's on that team, as is my girlfriend Brianna's very close friend Kat, who I meant to put in the credits because she gave us our makeup stuff, but I ran out of room, so
Whoops.
I was like, sorry, Kat. But and then Randall, who I did. Do you remember the i48 like spinoff thing they did? Not the month-long thing, but where they gave everyone a page to like a feature.
Yeah.
I helped him on that.
Okay.
And so his team is Airtight Glass.
How'd you help them? What were you doing?
So that's funny. Haley was doing something, and they were gonna have some people come by, but people weren't able to because it was really late too. It was like midnight, and she called Brianna, and I was like, "Well, I'll do it." So I went in and I acted, and I did a few lines. What worked out really well was he was like, "Oh, we don't have a boom pole," and I was like, "Baby, I got a boom pole in my car." Well, it was Brianna's car. And then I had a slate as well, so I like hooked him up with some stuff.
Right on.
It went pretty well. And then who else? I recognize Clear's Mud Films, Brown Space Films. Now I don't recognize them, but I really like the name Bokeh Babes.
Bokeh Babes.
You know, is it bokeh? Bokeh? I can never pronounce it correctly. You know, like the camera effect, like when it's the one right above ours.
Where is it? Show me.
Left side. It's like 14 or 13. It's right above white font, which is ours.
Bokeh Babes.
You know,
so that's an effect.
Yeah, like bokeh is like an effect on the camera when you make everything very out of focus, and you can see like the circles of like light and whatnot. Yeah. So that's
okay.
So that's, I love that name. So
that's cool.
Shout out. Let's see. I love Kids Zone.
Yeah. So what's Kids Zone?
So which is a team of I want to say they're teachers helping, but it's just a group of like kids. Who knows? It's half the appeals I have no clue. That sounds like the pervious thing. Half the appeals, I have no clue where these kids are coming from. I don't know if I got to see their faces again. No, but you know, like it's just a group of kids, and they just make like this. They're clearly just kids having fun, and it's like the most like genuine thing you'll see. Like their shots or whatever. Like sometimes they're actually good. Sometimes I'm like, dang, a kid got that shot, or like a teacher helped like a kid get that shot. Like that's killer. And so Kids Zone opens up the 2:30 screening, it says on here, but I remember them saying there was some screening issue. I can't recall.
Okay.
But I might stick around just because I really want to see Kids Zone. Let's see. I want to see what else looks familiar. None of these other. Rocket Moving Picture Company. I know that one. Those guys had a bummer too happen to them
this time around.
Yeah, that's Christy and Lee.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Did
their hard drive crash on them?
Yeah, their hard drive crashed at 1 p.m. Sunday. And they shot something like in that time. I saw it on Facebook. Oh, I felt so bad for them. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. That is, we saw them as we were dropping off. They were walking past us.
She looks so drained.
And I was wondering. I was like, man, long weekend for them. I was like, I didn't know the half of it. So my hearts go out to them. I really, and you know what I really respect. I really respect that anybody would like just be like, well, we're turning something in, and it's gonna like the fact they started over like that.
They started over?
Yeah, they started over within that time. They wrote something and just did it.
No
and
way.
I respect the hell out of that.
Wow.
Like so to give you an idea, like now I'm thrilled with our i48 thing. Like I think it's like one of the best things I've ever made. But there was a point where I was like so nervous about it, and this was after the forest stuff, which is the best part, I think. I was like, man, should we just start over and like do something tomorrow morning? I thought that.
Really?
I thought that hard.
Why?
Maybe it was sleep deprivation, but I was like,
you were running on like an hour or two.
Yeah, but maybe it was like, I know I woke up like I heard you leave, and I was like, huh? When it was like, it was like 1 or 2 or something.
Yeah,
like that.
1 in the morning when I left.
Yeah, and I heard the door shut, and I was like, oh, I gotta go. And but I thought long and hard about being like, this might suck, and we should just start over. And luckily, literally the part I thought sucked didn't. So the forest stuff, that was the stuff I thought wouldn't work.
Really?
Well, just because I had a real out there idea, for it all. And I mean, Chase and I both kind of came to the same thing, but it was very like out there. And I was like, this isn't going to work. I think I was just so in my head about it, and so like overly anxious about everything. And like, this is a big deal for Chase and I to be working on something because we made a lot of stuff as kids. And since then, you know, I've gone to do a lot more stuff. Like, you know, I've done Boise Boys and Netflix and Kills coming out soon and whatnot. And he just graduated NYU. And I mean, he helped.
Oh, he just graduated.
Oh, he graduated 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
But he's been working at like the giant like Riverside Church in New York City, like running sound for them.
Wow.
Like he's been doing it hard. And so like he moved down here to just work on film stuff with me. And like, I mean, and his own stuff. I guess I don't want to say exclusively me, but like, you know, like we're gonna like work on stuff like hard. And so, and which really came up out of the blue too. He like planned this like within a month. Like he had no clue. And then he was just like, I'm doing it. I'm just going to move down there. Cause we like casually talked about it. And I was like, well, you can come. I have an extra room. And he's like, okay, that's it. And it just happened.
He just
like,
flew out here?
Yeah. He literally like, within a month he shipped all of his stuff to his parents and just moved out here.
Wow.
And so like, I felt bad that this wasn't good. I thought this wasn't going to work, but because I think it was like my worst fear that it wouldn't work. You know what I mean? And so I was like, am I wasting his time? Like all this like energy out here and the first thing we make sucks. And then I'm like really over the moon about it. Like, yeah, I'm really happy the way it turned out. And so that makes me happy, but it's literally a 180 of how I felt like Saturday night.
Oh yeah.
I was like, this sucks.
You definitely need to get some more sleep when you're doing those things, man.
Yeah, I do. Man. Well,
I was like, you have plenty of time to sleep. Like we're just kind of sitting around sometimes, and
that's when I did kind of, you know what I mean? I hit that. Well, because he was like, I'll sync the sound, and he's like, it'll just take a bit, and I was like, I'm gonna sleep in this bit, where he was syncing all the sound, and then a little bit after he left, I went upstairs, and he was like, it's done, and I remember I threw like a blanket over myself, like a cloak, and the opening shot, I put the whole video in there, like the whole like 2-minute long clip of her like in that, or like that opening shot that's is just nothing, and I like looked down like I was playing the piano, and I went like, because I hit the space bar and I just let it play, and I'm like, that felt right. Like my eyes were closed, and I was like, that's how long it should be.
Yeah.
I was like, I waited till I felt awkward, and then I waited again,
and it was about 30 seconds.
Yep.
Wow.
And so I was like perfect. It might be like 26, 27 seconds, but it's like a good like.
Good solid,
a good chunk, yeah.
Time.
So it's nothing. It's odd. Like once we were editing it, I was like, oh my god! I was like, this is working so well.
Yeah.
But right before that, literally like before I fell asleep, I was like, we're fucked. I was like, it's done. Like I'm gonna let all these people down.
Oh no!
And then I was like, actually, you know what? It was. I thought that it wasn't before I fell asleep. It was actually when you and I talked. And then I'm starting to feel better about it. Oh, because you know we talked about it, and like even though it was about something else, what I took away from us talking was like I can't be so in my own head about this, and that made me think like maybe this won't be so bad. Like because I was thinking about that about establishing like who was like creative like control on stuff. You know what I mean? And I was like, man, I didn't mean to do it like that. And then I was like, oh, because I overthought it, and I was like. And I'm overthinking this. And that's why I was able to fall asleep, I think, because I wasn't anxious. I was just like, you know what? Whatever. Well, I just like laid down. So I'm really glad we talked about it, actually.
Yeah, I felt that it was really important to talk about my frustrations because and talk to you about it because I could have easily ignored it and not said anything.
Yeah.
But I think that would have been a real problem because definitely. I think a lot of people, what they do is they hold that in and they don't want to say anything to hurt someone else's feelings or make them feel uncomfortable.
With stuff like this, that doesn't work though.
No, because then if I would have done that, we could have never ended up working together again.
Yeah, exactly. Because all we would have had was just like frustrations.
Yeah,
exactly.
And so, and I respect you enough and I consider you a really good friend. Yeah, and so I was like, I don't want to ruin this. I need to express how I feel because he's my friend and he needs to know.
Exactly.
If you weren't my friend, I wouldn't have said anything.
And I think too, it's good that you said that as well, because then you knew that like I fucked up, but it wasn't maliciously. Like I wasn't doing it to like screw you out of anything. I was doing it because I was just like being inconsiderate, which is different. You know what I mean?
I think that you were more trying to make sure everything was running properly. You had one of your best friends, Chase, come to move with you, and you kind of gave him that freedom to create and have his ideas on screen. Yeah. Which made perfect sense in the end. I was frustrated at first. And the biggest thing I took away from this was that I need to learn how to control my emotions better. when I'm angry or upset, because that gets you nowhere.
Yeah.
All it does is show that you have a bad attitude on set and that people don't want to work with you because you make them feel uncomfortable.
Well, I think acknowledging that is great, because I think you brought up a good point too, because I think just because we're so close, I would still work with you again. You know what I mean? I mean, I can't speak to what you would do, but I think because we're so close, but I think both of us have like an apprehension about it, you know? But I think knowing it and being like, oh, well, I just won't let that, like making that clear that like it's something that we both like in my head, I stew on it, and clearly you stewed on it in your own head. And so it's clear that like we've thought about so much that we're both going to like go out our way to make sure that doesn't happen again. And with film stuff, it's so important to just be like clear as shit about what you want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
To be so like
what you want and what everyone's job
supposed
is
to do. Yeah.
Yeah. What they're supposed to do, and be clear about that, because of, like I said, like I was frustrated because I thought I was going to be doing something else than what I was doing.
And so it threw your whole weekend, because in your head, you're planning this whole thing out in your head, what it's going to be. And yeah, exactly.
So I was like, what the hell?
I think that's why I felt so bad too, because I understood it like completely. Like it was like the moment you said it, I was like, oh no.
Yeah. And I have a fear of not talking to people about what I'm upset about, because I don't want them to have to stew on it, but I'm learning to like, okay, I have to address things, because I feel like there's things where my friends will make me upset, or my wife or my dad or somebody will make me upset, and I don't say anything, and then it doesn't get resolved.
It just becomes a problem,
and it becomes a bigger
problem.
Yeah, and it just grows and grows and grows. Yeah. And so I'm trying to like come to, like how I did with you, I tried to come to you in a manner in which you would understand my point of view without making you feel super bad about it.
Oh yeah. No, but that's the thing, is I think that was clear when you approached me about it. And I think that's why I reacted, just because I understood, because I was able to like think of like what I was able to think, like the first, when I was like, why is he like this? I was like, well, why would I be like this? I was like, that's why.
So did we talk before the diner stuff? Where I was like, we'll talk later, or was that?
No, I don't think so.
After?
It was after.
Okay, good.
And it was at the diner thing. That was like when you're like, we'll talk later.
Yeah,
and
I was upset in that because I was supposed to be DP, but you guys wanted a certain shot. And I'm like, it doesn't look good, and I'm DP. Like,
well, and the only reason we wanted it was because, so that wide shot we got in front of the cigar place.
Yes.
So that was supposed to be a transition into that wide shot across the street.
Right.
We didn't use either, because we could see the camera fully in that wide, which we thought we could, you know what I mean?
Yeah. We couldn't see, but we thought we would be able to.
And we definitely could in the video. But we had like a specific transition in mind. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so like the reason we were like stepping is like with certain shots, like it's definitely with like a DP, I'd be like you take the liberty of this, but with like a specific, like the shot needs to be this for this transition to work, because we have very close up stuff. Yeah. And it's all about moving with the object in our hand, and that takes us to different scenes. And so we had an idea with that, but it didn't work because the other one didn't work. And so we were going to initially cut to that wide, and it was going to mirror the exact same, like a close thing with that wide at the hamburger place.
Right.
And so you didn't get to see it turn out like that at all, because one of the other shots just didn't turn out.
Right.
But we had like a specific plan for it.
Yeah.
And I think that is actually the biggest thing I took away, is I need to make that stuff clear. Like, because there's stuff in the forest that was like you DP'd like a motherfucker on, and it turned out better because of that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it turned out like definitively better because of that. And I think when we were like taking over more with like that like city stuff, like the downtown stuff, it was because A, we were really rushed for time, you know what I mean?
Rushed for time, yeah.
And B, we were like, you
had a vision.
Yeah, we were like it's almost like quicker to be like, we'll do it than explain it, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So like, and I think I felt like overly guilty about it at the time, because I was like, we should have been scheduled. We should have been this. We should have been this. And I'm like, no, it's I48. It's fine. Like if this was a real shoot, none of that bullshit would have happened. You know what I mean? But that's because we all would have been on the same page before we like got rolling. You know what I mean? And with something like this, like you're speeding and you've literally like had the script for like 6 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In our case, not even that. Like,
Yeah.
we didn't even sleep the first
So
night.
the way I envisioned that scene playing out was the way it ended up being
Oh, okay.
in what you had.
Mm-hmm.
And so the scene where she brings a cigarette up,
Mhm.
or I think it was the burger.
Yeah.
She's on the right side of the
Mhm.
frame.
Mhm.
And so we were going to cut to her being across the street
Yeah.
on the right side of the frame.
Yeah.
But instead we had her in the center.
Mhm.
So I was like, no,
Yeah.
she needs to be on the right side. I'm telling you. But yeah, I just was like, you take over.
Well, no, and that's the thing. And for what we ended up doing,
Yeah.
it was the right move. It would have been the right move to put her on the right side. But we were trying to pair her to that
Right.
wide where she's in the center.
Yeah.
And I think I actually, now that I think about it too, that makes even more sense because we hadn't shot that wide yet. So you didn't even know.
Right. Yeah. I had no idea.
So like, yeah, that's true. Because we shot that city stuff out of order.
That's right.
Yeah. So I guess that makes even more sense now. Look at that. I learned a little something else too just now.
So
But-
yeah, man, it was super interesting. It was a lot of fun. I'm glad we did it. And
I am too.
I'm excited to
I am
do
too.
another one together.
Like it's even us like arguing about stuff, like it's still a good time. You know what I mean? Like being like, I really like one of my favorite movies is Punch Drunk Love because it's stressful. Like I like being stressed out to an extent.
In a movie, like while you're watching something?
Oh, it's so stressful. It's such a stressful movie to watch.
Well, that's good.
And I like that.
A movie should be that way. A movie should be an emotional roller coaster.
Exactly. And well, that's the thing. I think making it, like, I like being stressed out in that degree too, because it makes the payoff so good. Like,
it really does. Yeah.
And, you know, like I felt like really for the most part, like everyone did really well, like at what they had to do. Like there were like bumps in the middle, obviously, but I think the stuff at the beginning, forest stuff, for as quick we did it and under the circumstances, were awesome. And I think the stuff in my house was awesome too.
Yeah.
Like,
I like it too.
I'm glad you were very picky on that glasses shot because it turned out great.
Yeah,
Where, like,
we shot it several times. I think that was the one where we
did it
shot
like
the most.
7 or 8 times, something like that. But you can see the TV stuff perfectly.
Yeah.
And like it's better than I could have even pictured. Like I'll tell you what, Chase and I definitely didn't even picture seeing it off our glasses until you were like, we could do that. And I was like, no fucking way we can, you son of a bitch. And I loved it.
Yeah, it turned out really well because you hear it and you kind of get a hint of what she's watching, but then
just seeing that like smidge of it across
on
her eyes.
on her glasses, and you can see it and you're like, oh, I know exactly what she's watching. Yeah. And then that whole scene plays out. It's so good. I thought it was really well done. And the coloring of that cup in your couch was just gold.
You know what? What's your favorite shot?
My favorite shot of the whole thing was her walking into frame.
In the forest.
Yeah, that was my favorite shot.
That is like the most like movie shot of everything. That is like, you got to put that on your reel. That was such a good shot.
That one was really good. The one in the house too, with her glasses and then the side view of her looking out the window.
Yeah. Also, the keep before screenshot turned out really well.
Yeah, I like that one too.
That one's good. And the final shot. I like the final.
Definitely.
The final shot is awesome, especially in context to the opening and middle one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think now that I think about it, us being at the end of that one of the showing, it's gonna be perfect because
I think it's gonna do the same thing. Everyone's gonna just like quiet.
Yeah, it's gonna give you that weird like, what did I just watch feeling, and it's gonna be the last one you see for a little bit, and it's gonna be stuck in your head more than any of the others. Unless some of the others are like incredible.
I wish judging was done like there almost in the theater with everybody.
Yeah,
it's not like that. But I think more than anything, I just want people to walk away from it, and I think everyone in that room is hopefully gonna be like, "Whoa!"
They judged it already.
Yeah, they have or they will by Saturday.
Okay, cool.
I only know how many judges there are.
No idea.
I only know Garcia brothers.
Yeah.
I think Peg Owens.
Come on, guys. You gotta root for us.
You do it. You do what you want.
You do what you want. You guys are awesome, though.
You do what you want. I saw that Big Red commercial, by the way, that you helped out on.
You saw it?
Yeah, they shared it.
What?
Yeah.
Who shared it?
Okay, is shots of like people looking up, and then it's like some guy in a driveway. He's like a darker guy, and he was like, shaking his head, and then it's like stakes, and they like slam it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the hell?
They shared it.
Who did?
I think the Garcia brothers shared it.
No way.
I wonder if there's like alternate versions of it, but they shared it.
I didn't get it. You saw before me, man. That makes me
That's the world we live in now.
Oh no.
That's the world we live in.
Well, I'm trying to stay off Facebook because I'm on there a lot.
Yeah. Hey,
I'm trying to stay
I'm
off
with
there. But yeah, I'll have to check that out.
I haven't been on it much either. The only thing I don't post very often. So I typically only post when I do a film thing.
Mm-hmm.
So like I post afterwards to like congratulate everybody.
Yeah. Which was very kind of you. Thank you for doing that.
Everyone killed it. Like I'm like, really, and for what we did, we had a very professional team, like treating it like adults. And that means a lot to me. Like, and I think while shooting, the most important thing to me of all is treating my crew well. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously I want the shot, but I never want that to come at the expense of like the people that are like willing to work with us, you know, like you did awesome. Danietta did great. Like, man, she provided an FS5, lenses. She helped masks. She helped color. I mean, she did color and mask. Like,
she did a lot.
Like,
man.
really, like to you and her and our friend Rodrigo, who'd never done anything. You know how you said you brought your buddy in on the i48 and he like bounced like halfway through?
Yeah.
Like, Rodrigo, I'm happy we brought one person to do that for us. Like one person to be like the guy that had like never been there, and he stuck it out the whole time. Like he'd never been on a set, and he slated, and he followed us everywhere.
He really enjoyed it. He talked to me. It was just he and I. We were talking about it, and he's like asking me questions like, "How long you been doing this?" And then he was telling me that he actually really enjoyed it, and he can't wait to do more. So
yeah, I think we'll definitely have him around to do more. Because I think like that's a good, like, if anyone's looking for like a job like to like do film stuff, I actually think a second AC job's not a bad idea, because that was your first one of your first jobs you did on the feature.
That's what I did on the feature. Yeah,
and
that's a perfect start to anything, really,
especially at like a local level like this.
Yeah,
because you get to see everything, you get to be involved.
Yeah,
but you're not like, it doesn't like hinge on you. Like if you goof something up, maybe dropping a lens, but if you goof something up, like it'll be fine, you know, in that position. So yeah, dude.
And you get to really experience what it's like to be in there shooting, which I was really happy about when we did the feature. So, because I could have been a PA, you know, and not been allowed in some of the time, because there was a lot of the time where some of the people had to leave the room. And I was grateful enough to, like, I didn't have to leave. I could stick there and watch how it all happened. Yeah, and see how Ben was able to direct, and Brady, how he was able to, you know, DP, and it was just cool. And then seeing you do sound, I just learned so much from everybody, and it was a wonderful.
Well, it's a good gig, because like sound, like, you know, like sound you need to know a little bit. Like DPing you obviously need to know, directing you need to know. Like an AC job is like, you need to know enough to get in the door, and then like they need you around. Like, and with a PA job, you know, they'll never see you doing it, but you should. Well, they never should see you, but you know, you're sitting around a lot at times.
Yeah.
And an AC job, it's hard because you're with everybody doing just as much work, like more or less. Maybe not mentally, you're not like planning it out, but like you're like, if they're like, do this, you're like, okay, like you're there and you're working, like you're with everybody the whole time. Yeah. So that's a good point.
Yeah.
It's a really good point. I think that's probably the job, like, because, you know, when I have friends do stuff, I like to give them something to do typically. And I feel like often I'd just be like, all right, you'll just PA or something like that. So I think that's what I'm going to do in the future. That was Chase's idea.
Have him second AC.
Yep, exactly.
That was Chase's idea?
Yeah.
Oh, that was a great idea.
Because he's done a shit ton of stuff when he was out in New York. And that was like the first thing he said. He's like, well, I have Rodrigo Slate. And I was like, beautiful.
Yeah, it worked out perfect.
Yep.
Because imagine if he was just PA.
Yeah.
He was just running around getting us food and stuff. I don't think he would enjoy it as much.
Oh, yeah. You know? I mean, you're like you're a part of it when you're slating. Like it's I know it's like, well, what I think is funny about slating too is slating is something that everybody recognizes. Everybody. You don't even know movies and you recognize slating. You don't know what it means.
Clapper.
Yeah. You know, yeah. Like, you know, you see those Pixar bloopers and they do, that's what he'd always say. He'd always be like, I want to say marker like they do in Toy Story.
Rodrigo.
Yeah.
And he did.
So he's like, marker.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I remember learning how to slate and like things that they would tell me to say and how to do it and in which order. And
or everybody, like, I feel like I feel like if you're new, people are like, you gotta say something funny. So you gotta say like scene 23 bananas or like something like that.
I remember doing that, and the one we worked on was called higher education, and it was about. I mean, you know more about it than I do. Can you explain like the premise of what the movie's about?
Oh, the premise is this kid's selling weed to go to college, and he gets like a big order in for this frat house, and but he gets it early, and so he has to hang on to it for like a week and like keep it hidden. I think it's a good way. That's like the good base premise of it without giving like too much away. And I mean, we were all over for that too. Like,
oh yeah,
that's actually what gave me the idea to go to Idaho City for this, because we went up there. I mean, that was the day that the only day that you were gone. But that was the first day up there, because we went up, we drove all the way up there.
Yeah, I was there.
And I was like, yeah, and I was like, I can hit that up again. I was like, that's a good spot.
Yeah, it's a really good spot. But but going back to the slating thing, so it was about weed. So I would say things like, take 2 cannabis, or scene 2 cannabis, take 1 or whatever,
20C 23 bong,
20. Yeah, exactly.
24 Belgian. What is it? Belgian hot pocket.
Oh no. But yeah, man, it was quite the experience. I had a blast.
Oh yeah, dude. I would and so I really think like I48 higher education, all that, we only get better, And I think like, so like what, like I said about the other thing, what was the biggest thing you took away from this one? Yeah, what was like the biggest lesson you walked away from here?
Knowing what my part is, sticking to it, and then controlling my emotions.
Nice.
The crazy thing is that I think like I want people to see how I feel, because then they'll know. But that's a bad idea, because you should always be in control of your emotions, because they'll control you if you don't. And you'll just come off as wrong. Like people will interpret it in a different way.
Yeah, I think it worked out well between us, because like we're friends. Like I knew,
that's
you know what I mean? Like I understood it.
Yeah.
That's why when you said we'll talk later, just because you told me a story about you saying that to somebody else, I was like, oh shit, he's pissed. But it was only because you told me a story about you saying that to somebody else.
Oh, really? What was the story? Do you remember?
I'd rather not say, but
okay.
I'll just do this.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that but that's the thing, is like it went like I'm just glad that you take like something good away from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Like even if bad things happen in the middle, it's nice to like walk away and be like, score.
This definitely was the smoothest production I've been part of, aside from like a Garcia production.
Yeah, but those guys are like pros.
Well, everything I worked on with them is professional and getting paid, and so
that's true.
Honestly, you would have to be on one of their sets to really understand, like, holy crap.
Yeah.
How is it that we get to leave 2 hours early every time? How is it that they get every shot that they want?
Dude, it's because they structure and they pre-pro like nobody's business. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they have
when you're planned, you're ready to roll. Like actually, and all things considered too, with our I48, we got out when we finished when we planned to.
Yeah,
we were telling people like around 6, but I think in Chase and I had we said to each other, we're like, it's gonna be 7, and 7 I think is when we finished. It's like 6:37 when we finished the last shot. Then we all went and ate.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So.
Zupas?
Yep.
And that was the first time I had.
He said you were gonna love it.
Rodrigo.
Was he right?
He was. Yes.
Next time, get the pick 2.
All right.
Otherwise, you'd be an amateur.
I don't like soup though.
What?
No, I don't like soup.
What do you mean you don't like soup?
I don't like soup. I don't like flavored water, man. I mean, I like flavored water if it has sugar in it, but other than that, or artificial sweetener.
That's insane.
I have to be in the mood.
Gotta be in the mood for soup?
Yes. Like I have to be sick, or it has to be really cold outside for me to want soup.
Have you ever had a chowder?
Yeah, I've had chowder.
You like chowder?
Yeah, chowder. But I have to be in the mood for it. Chowder with some crackers and some
I don't think
lemon.
you learned anything this weekend.
No, I guess not.
We'll have to go to Zupa's again. We'll have to redo this.
Well, yeah, I'll have to try some of their soup. It looked really delicious.
It's awesome.
It's really good.
But what other projects are you working on? Do you have anything else coming up?
Yeah, actually, I'll be working with the Garcia brothers on their new
Hero.
Hero. So they won I-48 2 years ago, I believe, for a short film called Hero, and it's about. I guess I can give it away, right? Yeah, because it's already out. So it's about this guy who's almost like an Indiana Jones character, who's going on this adventure with this girl, and then it cuts to kids like reenacting it and playing it out in their heads, and then them as adults actually doing it. Super entertaining, really fun, but they're expanding on it now.
And they're making a big thing. Making
a big production out of it, and numbers wise, I don't know if they want to give that away, but they're putting a lot behind it. Yeah. And it's going to be really
Well, they got Austin Von Johnson.
Yeah, man.
And he was our guy. He's our lead guy in Netflix and Kill, and he's fantastic.
Yeah, he's amazing.
So I have high expectations.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I think we're filming not next week, but the week after.
Right on.
And then in July, they're doing some stuff. And
that's rad.
It's going to be pretty cool. And then a couple other things coming up, but that's the big one. Right on. Yeah.
That's rad.
I just worked with Silverline, Mike and Josiah Ness recently. Always have a blast when I'm working with them, man. They're so much fun to work with. They're always like so adventurous. You know, if you watch their stuff, I
see much of like their time lapse stuff, like or time lapse stuff you take.
Oh, of what we're doing there? Yeah. I just recently started doing that.
Yeah.
I was like, how can I make it a little unique? It's something people aren't really doing.
It's unique, and it's also like, because, just say you're setting up time lapses on sets and you just like pop a camera in the corner.
Yeah. And
it's nice because, it's unique, but it also lets you just be like, all right, here's this. So I'm just going to work. Yeah, like it's rad. That's a smart idea. That's a very smart idea. And then
people can see what the heck we're actually doing.
Yeah. I think that's awesome.
So yeah, man. And working with them is always a blast.
That's rad, dude. That's really rad.
Yeah. If you guys want to, I'm plugging them right now, getting them free plug.
Yeah.
Go to silverlinefilm.com and check out some of their work. It's pretty cool.
I'll do just that.
Dude, have you seen the fan-made trailer for, was it Voldemort, like the prequel?
Or whatever? Yeah. And it's like really, I haven't sat down and watched it, but like Facebook like auto played it one of these times, and I was like, damn, that looks like Harry Potter.
It looks exactly like.
I'm like, I can't believe they did that. Like the way the spells are like coming out and everything. I was like, that's nuts. That like some dudes like did that.
The way they did the news transitions too, like, and even the special effects of the elves and everything. Like, holy crap!
There's elves in it. I gotta check it out. I'm a big Harry Potter guy. Big Harry Potter.
Are you?
I read like all the books like growing up, like pretty religiously. The fun fact though, definitely fell asleep on the last movie. I didn't like the last movie.
You didn't like the last one, huh?
Well, I mean, it was good, but it was just like a big battle scene. I felt
kind of like The Hobbit 3.
I actually bounced on whatever Hobbit ended, where the shot is like of the dragon like flying. He's like, I'm gonna fucking murder those bitches. You know the one I'm talking about?
Did you not like that one?
I liked it. Okay. I actually liked it more than everyone else did. I didn't.
Yeah.
Whatever one ended, and they try like coat the dragon like gold, and he's like, no, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah,
I'm Cucumber Benapatch.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. That one was really good, I thought, but that third one was just absolutely terrible.
Just an action scene, basically the whole time.
The whole time.
That's too bad.
It was so bad. No. Peter Jackson, what? Come on, man.
I feel like he's like, you know what? Fuck you guys. I've made like 5 movies based on something else. I just want to have a little fun.
Probably.
Did you ever see it? I saw the first one. Actually, I think I saw both that I saw in high frame rate.
Yes, I did.
And I didn't like it.
I think it's because we're not used to it.
I think that, I don't know. I know like I'm not fully used to it, but I'm more used to it than you'd think, just because I play a lot of games, and games typically run at 60 frames per second, and I typically play like very cinematic stuff.
Didn't he run it at 120?
48.
He ran it at 48?
Yeah, the whole movie's 48.
I thought it was way higher than that.
So that's the thing. Yeah, weird.
I think that's why people were like, "This is a weird movie."
Yeah, because he doubled the frames, and
I think it's gonna live up to, like, if we watch it in the next 10 years,
maybe it'll do better.
Yeah, we're gonna be like, "Holy crap, he was ahead of his time."
I wonder if Avatar's gonna do something like that.
I guarantee you they're gonna do something
like
weird.
High frame rate. Well, because like I'm not fully opposed to it, but they need like the set looked bad in the first Hobbit movie at high frame rate. The opening scene of like the dragon like fucking up the town. It like it's like a little like prelude, and it's like
Oh yeah.
and I was like, man, that looked bad. Like it was a set that looked bad. I could like tell it was a
you
fake
tell.
set.
Yeah.
I almost felt like I could see like the cardboard stands like behind it, like. But and that's the thing. I didn't notice as much later when it was CGI stuff because I feel like my suspension of disbelief is like it's CGI. Like that's just what it is. You know what I mean? And it fits in better.
Yeah.
But when there was like but it was odd when it was a real like I could tell it was a physical set. I was like, I don't buy that. I was like, I don't buy that one bit.
That's funny, man. You know what was weird was when they first came out with those really high def televisions.
Mm-hmm.
My uncle had one at his house. He still has it, a Samsung. And we were watching, like he just had on Scream.
Nice.
On TV, on his high definition television. And I could tell that it was like on a set.
Yeah.
I was like, this is weird as hell. Like, this is so weird. This is crazy.
The first movie I saw that like looked weird to me was I saw The Dark Knight on Blu-ray, but it had one of those like TV things where they add frames. You know, like they have like they call it like they'll be like, this is cinema mode or something like that. And what they do is they add frames in between frames. So like between frame 1 and 2, they add another frame. And what it does is it makes it based on the first and second frame. And so it looks like it's just adding more, like, and so it looks like uncomfortably smooth, but it's uncomfortably smooth and it's not real. So it sucks.
Really?
A lot of TVs do it. I turn it off like immediately, but like they put it in like Best Buys and stuff because when you're watching it in a Best Buy or something,
you're not really paying attention.
Well, you are, but like you mistake it for being awesome. Like you're like, I want that. And then you get home and you're like, why does my movie look wrong? Or my game or something.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that, man. That's good that you let me know.
They've been doing that for like 10 years maybe. Yeah, and it was Dark Knight. I got the Blu-ray. My parents got it and like on a new TV. I think it was also a Samsung. And I was like, why does it look like shit? I was like, this movie should not look like this. I was like, I saw this movie and it was spectacular looking.
Yeah.
So that's
a wonderful movie.
Dude, it is.
Dark Knight is probably.
I know you got Dark Knight and Lord of the Rings posters behind you.
Yes, I do. Those are my favorite movies of all time, man.
Those are the only movies I ever talk about.
When you ask, if you ask me like what's your favorite movie, I'll either say Lord of the Rings or The Dark Knight.
You know, or
Inception.
I'm actually I mean I love The Dark Knight. I think Dark Knight is like a 10. I'm like kind of burnt. I don't like medieval stuff. So like Lord of the Rings is hard for me. It's hard for me to take it seriously because the dialogue always makes me like roll my eyes when someone's like, we will climb the mountain. I'm like, shut the hell up, man. And it's a personal thing. Like it's not objective clearly.
What age did you watch it?
Oh, I've seen all of them in theaters.
Okay.
I've seen I probably saw Return of the King, no joke, 5 times in theaters.
Yeah.
Because I remember I saw it with my dad Christmas Day or like Christmas Eve or whenever it came out. Didn't it come out on Christmas or like
I don't remember.
Very around there. Return of the King did.
Yeah, it was wintertime.
Whatever's the poster of Aragorn like staring, he has the ring in his hand, like in the center. I remember that like seeing that poster at the theaters. And and then I saw it again. And then I saw it with my cousins who live in Moscow, Idaho, and I remember we walked down and saw it and I was like, I'm so tired of this movie. And then I saw it in like a bus trip somewhere. It was like for like a sporting thing or speech and debate in high school, and they put it on and I was like, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind if I ever see Lord of the Rings again. I was like, God, I hate Return of the King, only because I've seen it so many times. Like now, but it's been long enough now that I don't really remember it. But I just remember not wanting to see it.
Oh man, that's not good.
I mean, I'll watch it. I know they're good movies. They're objectively good movies. It's just I'm just like burnt on them for like permanently.
Return of the King has to be like the best movie of all time. I mean, look at all the
what about Dark Knight? What, Ricky? You know better than I that means nothing.
That means nothing. I know.
Well, look at all the awards.
Isn't it number one according to awards?
Movie? Maybe.
Or tied for first at least.
What do you know what it would have tied with?
No. I knew at one point in time, but I just can't pull it up. The data in my brain isn't there. Like my my shelves are locked right now.
So Inception's your other favorite movie?
I love Inception. You know what was funny was that it was my birthday. I think I was turning 18 or 19 when it came out, and it had been out in theaters for a while, and I had no idea what it was. We were just like, what should we do for my birthday? It was just Brooke and I. And we're like, let's go watch a movie. And we were like, which movie should we watch? We were at the theaters, like trying to pick a movie.
That's awesome. I love when you just do that. Go to a theater
And just like, yeah, let's pick a movie.
Let's see that one. Yeah.
And I was like, Inception. Isn't that the movie that was directed by the guy that did Dark Knight, which is my favorite movie at the time? Like, I was like, let's go watch that. Let's check that out. I have no idea what to expect.
And you were like blown away.
I was so blown away. I was like, this movie is incredible. This movie is ahead of its time, man. This is amazing. And I remember there was a scene with Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Tom Hardy before Tom Hardy was famous, where they're in the first level and they're having the shootout.
He's like, dream bigger.
Yeah, he's like, you're gonna have to dream a little bigger, darling.
Yeah, I remember that from the trailer.
As soon as he said that and then shot, I was like, he's gonna be a star. I guarantee you, he's gonna be in every movie after this.
One of my favorite movies ever. Have you ever seen Bronson?
I've seen Bronson. Yeah,
and that came out, I think, like a year or two before that. Maybe a year. Maybe
was it before or after?
I think it was before.
Okay.
Because it's Nicholas Winding Refn who did Drive. And
really?
Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
And it was his movie like a few years before Drive.
Oh.
I actually have a very funny story about seeing Inception in theaters. So one of my closest friends, Brandon Sullivan, he and I went to go see it, but there was also a girl I was dating, and it was one of our first dates to go see the movie. And she brought a friend too, I think. And she just talked the whole time.
No way.
So loudly.
What?
And I didn't want to say anything because it was like a girl. I was in high school and I was like into her, and I didn't want to be like, shut the fuck up.
That's what I would have said.
I just did. I wanted to, man, so bad. Like I kept looking at Brandon. I was like, oh my God. And
where did this girl learn to watch movies? Like, you're not supposed to do that.
Dude, Ricky, I've got a million stories.
Was she talking to the movie, or was she talking to like
loudly at me, loudly at the movie, just all these things? And this guy turns around, he's like, shut up. And I was like, oh, thank you. I was sitting there. I probably mouthed it. I was like, thank you. I was like, oh, I was like, someone had to do it, and I'm so glad it was you. I was like, I remember the scene. It was the scene too. To give you perspective too to how long she just loudly talked, it was when Joseph Gordon-Levitt's in the hallway that's rotating.
What?
That's how far in we got before the guy was like, shut up.
And like I was a third of the way through the movie.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, I did like the sign of the cross. I was like, thank you. Thank you.
That scene too. That's what blew me away. That's what, like, okay, this is it. This is one of the best movies ever. Because I had never seen anything like that before. Yeah. I'd never watched like 2001 Space Odyssey before.
I saw that for the first time.
You just saw it?
Yeah.
So let's get into that. But that scene where it's rotating, I was like, how did he do that? That was
you watch and you see like the set where it's like the actual, that's crazy.
And they actually pulled that off, and they kept the camera on one ceiling or a floor or whatever. And, oh man, it's just so good, so well coordinated. It's just a beautiful action scene.
I totally agree. I think the moment Inception actually, it was the climax when I lost it. When I was like, I love this movie. When not the climax. I mean, the movie has a handful you could technically pick from climax.
Yeah, you could pick.
But I'd say it's when he's actually playing the idea, and like it's like like Cillian Murphy talking to his dad.
Is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
Killian?
Yeah.
Not Cillian?
No, it's definitely Killian.
Are you sure?
So I dated a different girl that was obsessed with him.
Killian?
And I always called him Killian. So unless she was a big idiot, no surprises.
Okay.
But then
I like Killian better anyway.
It's spelt Cillian.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Killian. Who knows? I know Jake Gyllenhaal's last name is like Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, something
but
weird.
I'm gonna call him Gyllenhaal.
Anyway, go on.
I don't remember. No, but
yeah, the climax scene.
No, but that was like when I lost it. That was like when I lost my mind, because I just like the way the story came together so well, and like the performances. Yeah, when he's like incepting, like it's a fucking verb. But when and he's talking to his dad like in the bed, but it's like in his head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, it's just like just the way it all came together so well. I was like, man, this is fantastic. I love. I mean, that is a great movie. Like,
yeah, really.
Like,
and when someone says they don't like it, I just have to walk away. I'm like,
You
how do
can't
you?
take it.
We can't be friends. How do you not like this movie?
So like Inception's a movie that like I think got a bad reputation because people were like, it's too complex. Or like, movie's not that complex. Like, I mean, it has a lot going on, but it's never like too hard to understand. The movie like explains what's going on. It spends like the first like 20 minutes of the movie, 30, deeply explain like what is happening.
Yeah.
And do you know South Park made an episode making fun of Inception?
What?
And where they and like one of the like they like explain it like and they make it sound like very convoluted, and a character even has a line saying, "Making an idea complicated doesn't make it better." And then the creators of South Park go, "We didn't actually see Inception." Yeah, they said they made that episode. They didn't actually see the movie.
Oh my gosh!
And
How can you do that?
Yeah, so I mean, this is closer to an apology as we'll get. You know what I mean? Admitting that like, well, we kind of fucked up there.
Whoops.
Yeah, that's a big whoops.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely a classic in my eyes.
Oh yeah,
I
absolutely.
love that movie so much.
It's very cool like to like see a movie like that like we did and be like those are our 80s movies. When people are talking about like Terminator and Raiders of the Lost Ark and Rocky, yeah, that's ours.
Inception's ours,
is Christopher Nolan movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
literally. Mm-hmm.
I'm not as thrilled about Dunkirk, but only because actually the new trailer was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
The first trailer I actually didn't like.
Me too.
Because
I
the
didn't
music,
like it either. Yeah, the music threw it way off.
The music was so bad. And Christopher Nolan always does that one really cheesy thing where he puts lines in the trailer that are like, "The only hope is in the sky," or like something like that. You know what I mean? Or like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. It's like those dumb lines.
But he's so good at the way he promotes his stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And he does. I think you're right. He does that intentionally
because he knows it works.
Mm-hmm.
He knows like the people that want to see his movie are going to see it, and he just has to convince the people that weren't going to before. Like, I'm gonna see Dunkirk.
Yeah.
The music, the trailer. Like, if I was basing it just off that trailer, the first trailer at least, I'd be like, yeah,
I'm gonna go see it, but
maybe
that trailer sucked.
Yeah, but well, I don't know if I'd even see it after that trailer, just because
really,
I'm just picky about movies sometimes.
Sure.
Like, I like to go to the theater more than I do. But the second trailer, I was like, damn. Yeah. And the way the last shot is Tom Hardy lining up they're lining up the shot or getting lined up in the shot, and then it's like, poof, and it shows like the date. And I was like, oh shit.
And the fact that they got Tom Hardy for that role, it's going to be weird. It's going to be interesting. He's not going to talk that much, obviously.
I want to hear his voice. That's Tom Hardy always is sold on his, like, to an extent, like, on his voice. He always does a weird one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he sure does. Bane.
My favorite Tom Hardy movie is Mad Max, though.
Oh, yeah. Where he doesn't talk at all.
He talks a little bit.
And
he has, like, an accent, too.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, Mad Max was so good. I couldn't even believe how good that movie was.
Yeah. Probably one of the best action movies of all time.
Oh, I think it's the best Mad Max movie.
I've never seen the other ones.
Oh, really? The first one is good. I think it's a little boring at times. It sets up the world well. Like the Mad Max, the first one starts with the world like intact.
Really?
Like there's trees and and as it's like falling down, he's a cop, and as it's like falling apart, he like goes home to his family, and the movie ends in like these just like shitty road bandits. They kill his wife and daughter.
Oh, okay.
And you see it all.
Uh-huh.
And the second one, if someone else said the second one's the best, I wouldn't think they were wrong either. The second one's also really good.
Compared to the new one?
Yeah, I think the new one's the best, but if someone said the second one was, I wouldn't argue with them. The third one's really weird.
Really?
Beyond Thunderdome, it's not great. It's not bad. Like, depending on, like, it's not good as like what you like the Road Warrior for, or what you would like the new one for, but it's like just being its own thing and being interesting. It's definitely interesting.
Yeah.
George Miller, that guy has had a crazy filmography.
Yeah.
Happy Feet.
I know. I did Happy Feet, and then he did Mad Max.
Did you see the first Happy Feet?
Nope.
Dude,
was not interested.
I feel like I saw that like as a kid, and I wasn't like whoa, but like it had this one shot where like I think there's like a scene where like he like is like put in a zoo or something, and you see this like reflection of like a kid watching him, and at the time, I mean, I probably would look like an idiot if I watched it now, but as a kid, I saw it and I couldn't tell if it was like a person or like a real live action person or something else, but something seemed like uncanny valley about it. I was like,
really?
I don't like that.
Really? It threw you off, huh?
Yeah, it threw me off really bad. CG is interesting in movies, man. It's very interesting. Because like on that note, like Mad Max is like CG light, you know what I mean? For the there's definitely a lot of CG in it, but for the things that like you think there would be CG, there's not.
Right.
Like, have you seen those like before and after videos?
Yeah.
They're nuts. That color correction too. That guy should have won an Oscar for his color correction. Like, insane.
Yeah.
Like that.
Do they even have an award for that?
Mad Max won a million like technical awards.
Oh, I know,
but it didn't win like any of the creative ones. So I wonder if they.
which was like really odd to me. And
What else?
I mean, they won 6 or 7 awards,
Room was out that year, and Room was my favorite movie of the year.
and it didn't.
No, it didn't, because then Spotlight won, and I was like, Spotlight was boring
Spotlight surprised me because it didn't win anything
until it won Best Picture.
until it won Best Picture, which I was like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Like, they've done this the past couple of years where they give the award to a movie that has meaning behind it, but it sucks.
Yeah.
Like
did you
Moonlight.
did you see Spotlight?
No.
Oh.
I didn't have any interest in it. It looks so boring.
I saw it because I just wanted to see them all, and it was pretty boring. Like I mean, it has some good moments.
Like the meaning, yes. If you're gonna make a movie, first of all, it's art form. It's creative. Be creative. Don't just tell a story.
I still have to see Moonlight because I started it the other night, but I was like, I'm in the wrong space for this, so I turned it off. But I watched like the first like 10 minutes, and I was like really hooked.
Which one?
Moonlight.
You liked it, huh?
But I only saw 10 minutes. I literally only saw 10 minutes, but I was like hooked. I was like, this movie looks great.
Yeah.
But we'll have
Watch
to
it
see.
all the way through.
We'll just see. Yeah, I'll watch it all. I just wanted to wait. You know, like I don't like starting movies in the middle. I don't like doing that. So if I can't watch it all in one go, I don't watch it. Like just because I'm just weird like that.
Yeah, I would like to get your opinion on that because I did not like that movie. It was okay, but I was like, why did this win?
If we're talking, what do you think is like the biggest like Oscar snub ever?
Mad Max was like, I really expected them to win. Trying to think. Can you go through some of them? Do you remember some
two
of them?
that I think of off the top of my head, and they're only because one's only because I'm obviously passionate about it, is Drive only was nominated for best screenplay, but it didn't get best director, which I think it deserved. It didn't get a best picture nomination, which I think it deserved. And maybe not, you know, I like Ryan Gosling, but I wouldn't go as far as to give him a best actor for that. He's really good, but you know, he doesn't like do a whole lot, I would argue. But I think that the direction of that movie's amazing. It's my favorite movie ever. The next though, which I think is more like egregious, is Jake Gyllenhaal for Nightcrawler. Didn't get nominated.
He didn't even get nominated?
He didn't get nominated, and he won the Golden Globe, I think, for it. Or he was at the very least nominated.
He probably wasn't kissing ass, man.
Dude, I know. That's exactly it. And I was like, did you see Nightcrawler?
Yeah, it was amazing.
He was so good in that movie.
He was so creepy.
Like,
I mean, he pulled that character off so well.
And that's the thing. If he wasn't that good, that movie would not have been good.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like if it was someone that was like pretty good, it would have been interesting. But he like is nuts in that movie.
Yeah.
I just Brianna just watched it the other night, and I like caught the last half.
Well, did you see Lessons from the Screenplay with?
I think I might have, but
like
I feel like I was half asleep.
I think it was like how to create apathy for the villain.
Yeah.
Or the antagonist or whatever.
You got to give them like a weird save the cat moment.
Yeah.
Do you watch Black Mirror?
I've only seen 2 episodes.
So I'm gonna give you like an assignment almost. You got to watch.
Okay.
You need to watch the episode of Black Mirror called "Shut Up and Dance."
Okay.
It's my favorite episode of all of them. It's the least like weird, if that makes sense. Like it's this, I don't want to say it like that. It's definitely weird, but that's what's good about it. The setting is the most comparable to our own, like our own real world. Because some of them are like, you know, like you live in a box in the future or something like that. This is like it's in somewhere in Europe, and it's fantastic.
What's it about? Just give me a tiny bit of it.
So a kid watches porn, and someone spies on him through his webcam, and they send him like a thing that is like, we saw what you did, we are going to tell everybody if you don't do what we tell you to do. And so he's getting text messages like, take this package here, do this, or they're gonna leak a video of him jerking off to porn. And he's like a high schooler, like 16 or something. And actually he might be like 16, 17, 18, but it's fantastic. It is so good. It's funny. It's Save the Cat moment is very interesting because it sticks out. It's weird. It's like weird how it sticks out, but you just have to watch it.
I'll check it out.
It's probably one of the best things I've ever seen ever. Like it's so good. I couldn't believe how good it was when I watched it. Yeah. I mean, I don't think I give higher praise into that episode. Like, and other people like other ones more. It was so like, I think you'll love it. Actually, I'm willing to say that right now. I think you would love it. Like Christopher Nolan level, like fall in love with it.
Really? Oh,
It's not that grand, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it is like,
Oh yeah, I'm definitely checking it out now.
wow.
I'll
Like,
probably watch it.
you should watch it when we're done
Today,
here. You
yeah.
should. I want to know what you think. And I'll try and watch Moonlight. I probably won't this weekend because E3, but I'll watch it next week and we'll definitely talk about it.
Okay.
But that episode can tell you a lot about storytelling.
Really?
It like I walk Brandon actually, he's 70 pages into a feature right now, and he was telling me he's like that thing like is like my direction that inspired me for like so much of it.
Really?
And his screenplay is great too. So
Is this the one that we talked about previously?
it's not the one that's similar to yours, but it's a different one.
Okay. Just curious.
Yeah, I'll when he's done with it, I'll ask him if I can like share a copy with you,
Okay.
because it's
Yeah, I'd like to read it.
You told me you don't like reading screenplays.
I did. I recently did. Yeah.
But if you,
I really don't.
But it's different if you're reading it like scholarly to like learn to, especially like do it comparable to something you're working on. I feel like it's different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, that's what you meant by that. Yeah.
No. It's weird for me because it's new. Even good, what they call good screenplays, I have a hard time reading.
Yeah.
Like Gone Girl.
I
was like, I'm having a hard time reading this because the way a screenplay page looks throws me off, because you have the setting and then you have the dialogue. And for me, it's like, okay, pick one and read that, and then go back through and read the other.
Okay.
So for me, I have a hard time writing dialogue and making sure it makes sense. And for me, that's what drives the story, not the setting. What drives the story is the dialogue. Almost like an action. Like I say one thing, you say another, and then it moves the story forward. That's how I think of it. So I read the dialogue first, and then I go back through and read the settings. And how I write is the complete opposite.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, it's
because I think I'm pretty good with my dialogue. Like I feel really good about how I write dialogue. I need to get better at what I need to get better at is writing action. Like, I mean, I can write like basic action like pretty well, I think. I mean, like a fight action, because, you know, like a good fight scene would be like if you and I were fighting, it'd be like he pushes him against the wall, dialogue. He punches, like he like, you know, like action dialogue, like you intermingle them. When I was writing Netflix and Kill, I would just like I didn't write they fight, but it may have been like 3 sentences of they fight, because it was so like bare.
Yeah.
And screenwriting's tough. Screenwriting is
really
very tough. Screenwriting's tough.
It seems easy, but it's not.
That's why it's tough, because it seems so approachable. Like if someone asked me to write a novel, I'd be like, that seems impossible. If someone asked, like, and I didn't know any better, and someone asked me to write a screenplay, I'd be like, I'd rather do that. But man, it's hard.
Yeah.
It is hard.
Yeah, I would challenge anybody to be like, well, if you have a story, you should try to put it in screenplay form and see how you do. And then, because I've done that before, where like I have an idea, I'm like, oh, it's a solid idea. I'm gonna do a screenplay about it, and then I do it, and I'm like, this is terrible.
That's funny.
Because I think it's the dialogue is very, very important in movies, but a lot of the time people don't pay attention to it. They pay attention to the action. Like my family, when I first showed my mom and my grandma Inception, they could not follow that movie for more than 20 minutes. Like they zoned out.
So I personally have an issue where I like zone out really easily. Like who knows, could be some attention thing, but I don't if I can, I love to see a movie in theater, because I'm like, that's the only thing I can pay attention to right now. Yeah. So like if it's a movie that I know is going to be like, I'm going to love, I go out of my way to see it in the theater because of issues like that. Like Inception, I wonder because I saw it again after that time, because I was like, I can't fucking let this be the time I saw Inception. And I saw it again. I really loved it. But I was like, I wonder, just through who I am and how I watch movies, if I would have treated it differently if I'd like watched it at home. I hate like knowing could pause a movie, or hate like if Brianna and I watch a movie and I have to go to the bathroom, she's like, I'll pause it. I'm like, don't, because I like don't like that. I don't like that thing stopped. Yeah. Because like it's almost like, it sounds obviously really pretentious, but I don't like they didn't plan when they were making the movie. They didn't plan for me to stop in the middle of their action scene and like go do whatever and come back. So I'm like, it's gotta just keep going.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's dumb, but it's just how I am about it.
You know, I've been watching the newest season of House of Cards. Have you watched that yet?
No, I've seen the first two and I kind of bowed out there.
First two seasons?
Yeah,
And you didn't like the second season?
I do. We live in a world where like there's so much like 10 out of 10 amazing shows or like content. I should speak better English. Where like you got to pick. You know what I mean? Like you got to pick like I'm going to miss one of these like amazing things and mine's House of Cards.
Oh, man.
I saw a couple and I was like, it's good, but I was never in the right headspace when I was watching it. And I was like, I'd just rather watch something else.
Well,
like
you're back into politics. I think you would like it.
That's true. I'm more interested in politics than I was at the time.
Try it again.
That's very true. That maybe I will. I gotta catch up with Better Call Saul. I got it.
I got bored after that.
Oh, dude, I love Better Call Saul.
Like 7 episodes in, I was like,
oh my god, I fucking love Better Call Saul.
More than Breaking Bad?
No, I'm not an idiot.
But I'm that same way that you are with House of Cards with Game of Thrones.
Oh, I don't like medieval stuff. So that's why so it's funny. I was talking to someone at work about it and they're like, do you like, what do you think of Game of Thrones? And I was like, I really don't like it. And someone's like, we got to see more. I was like, oh, I've seen every episode because Brianna's watching it. There's another girl I was dating that she watched them all. Like I've seen all of Game of Thrones and I don't like it just because I mean, there are good moments, obviously. Like I respect it. Like I would never say it's a bad show.
No, it's definitely not.
But, and the last season, the last episode was but the second last episode, I was like, damn, okay, this was worth it. Because it's like a Lord of the Rings like fight.
Oh wow!
And
I heard about that. The production that went into it wasn't like $10 million just for that scene.
That wouldn't surprise me. It was insane. So that was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's tough because we got to live in a world where you really have to like almost commit to what entertainment you're gonna watch.
Yeah. There's so much content out there now.
Isn't it crazy too that like there used to be a time when you would like, do you have cable or anything like that? Satellite?
No, I got rid of it like
I don't either.
a year or two ago.
I haven't had it ever since I left my parents. And
wow.
So yeah, I haven't had cable or anything like 6-7 years. And
damn.
So like I think the idea of being bound to a time when I want to watch a show is insane.
Yep.
Like I can't believe we did that.
Time is the most important thing to us. It's what drives us to do things.
Yeah.
And so if we have to schedule a time to actually do something that we don't necessarily want to do, but we would like to, we're not going to do it.
Exactly. Like so especially in like this world, like let's say like the best shows out there are only on TV. They're not streaming anywhere. Well, those are getting tossed in the trash now. Like no, you're going to miss them because you didn't present it to me in like the easiest way.
Well, look what's happening to all the sitcoms and stuff that are on television.
They're scooting
dying.
over. Yeah, they're scooting over to Hulu or Netflix.
And they're changing. They're not the same anymore.
Yeah. It's like I watched, have you seen Man Seeking Woman?
No.
It's a really good show. I really recommend it.
Is it a sitcom?
It's like but it's, so one of the main characters is Eric Andre. But
okay.
You know who Jay Baruchel is?
Oh wait,
he's in Tropic Thunder. He was in She's Out of My League. He's
is he the
he's like the nerdy
booty
guy.
What's it in Tropic Thunder? No, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
And the premise of the show is just Jay Baruchel just trying to meet girls, but it's very like surreal. It's really good. I guess I don't need to explain the show to like make my point, but it's I watched the whole thing streaming on FX's app. Because I don't have cable or I don't have satellite, but Brianna's parents have like a DirecTV login and we use that to watch it. And I was like, if we didn't have this, I would never watch the show. And I love this show. I would never watch it. And it was on, and they put on Hulu and stuff. And I'm like, man, I feel bad because there have to be shows out there or content of any kind that are amazing, but it's locked behind either an annoying paywall or it's locked behind a dumb like time constraint. Like,
yeah. Like Atlanta.
I miss Atlanta and I want to see that so badly
too because he won.
Yeah, and
so I was like,
wow,
it has to be good. It looked good.
Donald Glover is one of my biggest inspirations for filmmaking. He was when I was in like middle school. Like I watched his just dumb YouTube videos and they were so like inspiring to me.
Yeah.
And so I really wanted to see Atlanta and I missed it. And I was like, I had the chance to like watch one episode in the middle, but I was like, I don't want to like goof if if this is like a serialized show, like it matters. So I was like, nope. But it's crazy because like what these content providers have to do is they are at the point where they have to make things like accessible because they need to be. Like I'll admit I don't do it nearly at all now, but like I used, in college I used to pirate movies like nobody's business, and I but also because like people ask me, like, well, would you want someone pirating something you made? I'm like, that's my dream, to log into Pirate Bay and see a movie and see something I made. Somebody wants to watch it so bad they'll steal it.
Right.
I take that as a compliment personally, but but others don't, so that's why I don't do it. I don't do it as much.
I can't remember which rapper said that.
Really?
Some rapper was doing an interview and they were telling him, because it was during the time where people were constantly pirating their stuff. I think it was 50 Cent actually.
Oh, nice.
And he was like, yeah, it doesn't bother me. I don't care.
50 Cent,
as long as they're listening to my music,
and now 50
I don't
Cent's
care.
broke.
And now he's broke. Yeah. I think it was him or Lil Wayne or something.
Yeah.
But
I that wouldn't surprise me if Lil Wayne said it either, because I've seen that guy's interviews. No, but what is interesting, like, so music's actually a good way of putting that. Like, and I definitely like pirated music in high school. Like I would just download the shit.
I think
everybody did. And the reason I stopped pirating music though is not because I got a conscience like I should have. It's because Spotify came out. And I was like, you made this easier than pirating. So I'm going to use it.
Yep.
Like I can listen to any of this like right now and I don't have to like do anything. I'm like, I'll pay for it because you made this worth it to me.
Yeah. I don't have to sit there and destroy my computer while I pirate.
Yeah. And like now I think I might not do it because in high school it's different when you have a different value of money, when you're growing up, especially when I was in college too, and now like as an adult, I'm like, well, they've earned my $10 for something like this. Yeah. And I mean, I know Spotify has some business practices that aren't great for musicians and whatnot, but like as an audience member, I'm focused on getting my ticket to see my show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like when I'm making something, I know that's what the audience is doing for me as well. Like they're like, is my ticket worth it?
Yeah.
So I think that's fine. So that's why like stuff like Netflix and HBO Go and FX Now and USA putting all their shows up on there, like that's why they do it like that, because they need to make it easier. And
you have to. Yeah,
otherwise people aren't going to watch.
Well, our generation is quite different from the past one, where we would rather spend our money on experiences rather than items. Yeah. And so if we're out going on adventures and trying to see the world, well, we still want to watch. We still want to be entertained with certain things. So how can we do that? Well, it's easy to just watch something on our cell phone.
Well, like so what I do for like my biggest like vice almost is, well, I'm very bad about spending money when it comes to like food, but it's because I like that experience. You're right on the money. I like going out to eat with like friends. Like I don't spend that much money on my like getting myself food. Like if I'm eating by myself, I have no problem just like throwing some peanut butter and some bread. But if I want to hang out with Brianna, I'm like, let's go get dinner, because like it's nice to like go be somewhere and be in that experience. So you're totally right. Like that's a good way. That's a great way of wording it. Like I prefer to like, which is definitely where most of my money goes. Like
on experience.
Yeah, it's like just to go somewhere. Like it's almost like it's dumb, but it's almost like paying $10 to see a show. Is I'll pay $20 and have her and I go have some drinks and sit down and eat a burger or something.
Yeah. Yeah, man. We definitely want to do that, because what's weird is that Brooke and I hardly ever spend money on things. We've just recently started doing it since we started the business, but like our couches in there.
Oh yeah.
Those were free.
You got them off the street or something?
No, it was a friend.
Oh, nice.
Like things like that, they just kind of come to us, but either through family members or friends, because eventually they're going to want something new and they're going to need someone to take their old stuff. Yeah. And so we just kind of wait.
Take advantage of other, not take advantage.
No, we don't take advantage.
Well, no, but I mean to say you take advantage of knowing that other people will want to buy those things.
Yeah, because
you're like, sweet.
Like here's another thing. Like some of my equipment, my like film stuff is all used. Yeah, except for like my camera. Most of everything else is used from other people because they're out trying to get new new stuff, and they need to get rid of their old stuff. And so I'm like, I'm waiting around until you want to give me your old stuff, because I'm still new to this, so I don't want to go out and spend a ton of money on
and then
stuff.
be like, oh shit, like
right, because I almost bought Anthony Blaine's
Ursa,
Ronin.
Oh yeah, we talked about that,
and I was like, oh, I want one so bad. But then I started thinking like, well, I don't need it.
Yeah.
Because I don't get enough work to actually use it. But I want it.
Yeah.
There's a difference there. And so I was like, you know what? I'm not going to get it. I'm going to tell my buddy about it who's been wanting one for a while now. And he's going to get a huge discount on it. So they got it.
Nice.
I'm like, eventually I'll get something like that. But
yeah, it's kind of like, because I'm like that with film equipment stuff too, where it's almost like I feel like I need to earn it, but not through money, but through like, I need to earn the right to be able to use this thing.
Yeah.
Like I need to be like, okay, now I'm good enough to the point where like, this is what I need. And because like for years, you have a T4i?
T6i.
T6i. Chase and I got started on a T2i.
Everyone did.
And yeah, because dude, it was like the game changer. It was the game changer camera. And
really?
Oh, dude, you like, if you were there, like paying attention to stuff during like the boom of like DSLR filmmaking, it changed everything. I remember I saw one of Chase's first projects. You know, Chase and I made stuff on like handy cams and like a tiny camera and you'd flip out the side and whatnot.
yeah.
And we did stuff like that for years. And then I moved away and I made like dumb film, like skits with like friends and stuff. But I was like, I want to do films. I don't want to do skits. I want to do films. And Chase was like, I talked to him. I was like, what are you up to? And he's like, I just made this. And I was like, it was with the DSLR and it was insane. And he'd like been telling me about it. He's like, yeah, I'm working on this project. And like, I gave him some ideas and he bounced some stuff around. And then I saw like the final thing and I was like, what? I was like, you made this? I can't believe you made it. And all he really changed was a DSLR and he just thought about his shots. And I was like, man, I got to get one of those. And so, him and I shot a short film based on that with a T2i and it blew my mind still how good it looked. And there are things that suck about it, but I'm like, hey, this looks, I remember there's this guy whose name I won't drop, but I really couldn't stand him. He was doing films in the area and he asked me about why our thing looked so good. He's like, why does it look so good? And I was like, well, I would suggest you get a camera, I was like, a T2i is like cheap, like something like that. And I was like, well, in the grand scheme of cameras. Yeah. And I was like, it's just a T2i or some sort of camera where you can really mess with depth of field because that is what steps you up to the next like level almost. And he was like, well, my mom bought me this like $2,000 camera that didn't have that for some reason. And he's like, so whatever. And I was like, why'd you even ask me if you weren't going to listen to what I had to say?
That's interesting. You're gonna have to write his name down so I can know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he's long gone. But I was like, actually, I got another story about this guy with i48.
Did you know he was gonna be that way?
Yes.
Beforehand?
Yes.
You probably should have never told him then.
Well, no, because you give these people enough rope and they'll strangle themselves. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just gonna tell him what I would do. I would give him the positives, and if he fucks up, which he did, that's on him. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well, he's so egotistical that he takes the information that you said and just like lets it flow out of his head.
Exactly. And so in that context too, he had all the power. I gave him like info for something. I mean, I told him, I'm simplifying what I told him. Like I gave him more info than that, but like he had it and he was like, he chose to do nothing with it. Like, which that's the difference. You know what I mean? We all have like the ability to get this info. And one of the most satisfying moments ever is I48. It was the year the last one Chase and I did where we'd won second and we won that best sound of music. And after we did it, he was like, can I see your project? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, you can watch mine. And I watched his and I really didn't like it, but it seemed more important than telling him it sucked because I'd see it was better than he'd done other videos before that. And this one I didn't like it, but it was better than those. And so I was just like, you're getting better. Like you can tell. Like I was more positive than anything. I was like, what'd you think of ours? He's like, oh, I hated it. He's like, yours sucked. He's like, and my mom saw it and she said it was bad too. And,
what?
And I was like, and then after the flick showing, he was like, we didn't get into the best of. I asked the guy, like he bugged Andrew Ellis about it. And he was like, and Andrew Ellis probably told him something like, I don't know, man, which like I would do as well. Because I bet you get a ton of those people.
Like, why didn't we get in?
Yeah. And then we won, and I was just like, hey, but you know, we didn't win his mom's approval. So who really won here? It's probably him.
Yeah, your mom's always gonna support you no matter what.
Yeah. I'm nervous about this because I messaged my mom and she hasn't seen it yet, but she's like, can we come? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, can we just come to the one on Sunday? And I was like, well, there's no guarantee that we get in on Sunday. And she's like, oh, you will. And I was like, oh, mom.
Oh, mom.
I was like, it really doesn't work like that. Like, I'd like to say that we just will, but there's some really good people out there.
Yeah. Yep, definitely. Very talented people this year on I48.
Yeah.
I've worked with a few of the guys on some of these crews, and they're very, very talented.
It seems, are some people changing their names? Because I recognize less names than I typically do, but I've heard more people talking about it than in the past. You know what I mean?
About the names?
Well, so like, I don't recognize, like I said, I recognize some of the names, but I don't recognize most of them.
I don't recognize most of the people there at the meeting.
That's true as well. But I saw like people like on Facebook talking like, we did I48 this year. And I was like, whose team were you on? I was like, I don't recognize any of this stuff.
I don't know, man. I don't know. You know what's funny though? I noticed something when a couple of the people won. I think it was H48 or I48 last year, and they won. And I was like, who judged it? And it turns out it was their friends.
Oh, really?
And I was like, what the? And they won.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
You're not sure if it was H48 or I48?
I don't remember.
Yeah, but it's that's fascinating. Well, it's hard. We have such a small community that it's impossible. You know what I mean? Like, I only know of like the 3. I really wonder how many judges there are total. You know what? I this is a sidebar too about I48 stuff again. It's not even a sidebar. I'm thrilled. So just to explain, like, we did the Boise Green Bike thing. Like, and the premise was Boise Green Bike gave a bunch of money to I48, and whoever uses the Boise Green Bike, which is like a bike you can pick up downtown and ride around and then park it wherever, and you just rent it for like X amount of minutes or hours or whatever. Yeah, they gave the winner $250. Whoever did that, like, used it the best. I'm actually glad we didn't do it. Yeah, we didn't even focus on it. They told us, and we were like, we're not doing that. Well, just because there is almost no way to do that without it seeming like forced. Yeah. Like, I even think our prop feels a tiniest bit forced, but I think, who knows? I don't know. I guess it doesn't. I guess it does in the context of like it's in there, so we know it. Like, we know it has to be there. But yeah, who knows? At least it's not. At least we're not like, hurry, hop on the Boise Green Bike. We like. Unless you like focused it around that bike. Yeah, you know what I mean? Exactly. Well, I know people that did. Win? I talked to people that did. Focused around it? Yeah. Oh. Or they like focused entire scenes around. Like, well, I hope it's good. I hope they did a good job. Oh yeah, I don't like. So I did an interview with Boise State public radio. Oh, that's right. Yeah, tell us about that. And it turns out that played on NPR. Actually, played like on. Are you kidding me? My aunt listened to it. No, and she's like, I heard you on NPR, and I was like, what? Which is funny because obviously, like, I was like a few minutes late coming here because I sleep like so hard, and they called me. I literally like rolled out of bed and was like, hello. like I was in my underwear doing this phone interview. Oh no. And it was about like the ups and downs and pros and cons of I48. Yeah. Really funny thing though. I'm really like, I want to get better at this kind of stuff. But what kind of stuff? Well, I'm very bad at like, I feel uncomfortable sometimes promoting myself. And so I didn't even say the name of our project. I didn't say the name of our team. Max. Well, you just had to throw it in there. But she put an article up about it. Okay. And I was like, can you add this stuff? She's like, yeah, I will. And, but well, you have the opportunity now to do it. So I also, it's nearsighted and our team's name is White Font. Nearsighted being the title of the film. But I went into a lot of description about like the foresty stuff and the city stuff. So I'm like, when you watch it, you're going to know which one's ours. And I said we're the last one. Okay. I mentioned that as well. I haven't listened to the interview. I feel I don't want to. I think you should. It helps you grow. I've listened to other things I've done, but this one, it's because I was so tired that I know it couldn't have been good. Like it's one of those things where I was like, I know it was bad. I don't need to be reminded, but I probably will.
I want to listen. If you
I'll send you
a link,
yeah, I'll send you a link to it.
I want to check it out.
But
and then you can share it, man.
Yeah,
Share it.
I probably should.
Yeah.
But it's weird seeing my last name in an article. They're like, Cannon said this. So I was like, oh, I hate that. I was like, that's Mr. Cannon's my dad.
You call me Maxwell.
No, I prefer just Max.
Oh, okay.
Actually, it's funny. My really close friends all call me Maxwell, but because they seem to know I dislike it.
Like like Rammer or
Rick Rammer. That's a term of endearment, though. You know it is. What I keep trying to say though is they brought up a good point. Like they were talking about like I48 stuff, and they're like, "What do you think are like pros and cons?" And they brought up like pros and cons of like us doing it. That's what the question was. But like one thing that I really think is important is I think I48 needs to grow in one like big way. I think different genres competing for the same thing is kind of shitty. And I say this because we did H48 and I like that they were subgenres. So like it still is a little shitty, but we're kind of in the same ballpark for everything, you know what I mean? So it works. Like if someone makes like one of the best comedies ever, but someone else makes one of the best like dramas ever, or like, you know, like a drama with comedy elements mixed in, I think it would just beat it. And like I'm grateful we got silent because I wanted silent. Ideally we'd get comedy, which is insane that that's a genre because it's the most broad term in like the planet.
Comedy?
Like, yeah. One of the genres is just comedy. And I was like, you could have a comedy of any of these other genres.
Yeah.
Our silent film is comedic at times. Like I would say it's probably a drama the way it wraps up because a comedy's all about how things end.
Is that right?
Yeah, well, yeah, because like the difference between a tragedy is it has a sad ending, comedy has a happy ending. And I mean, in ours it's not like explicitly sad. It's sad, I guess, but
I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, so it's true. I feel like we did a good job towing the line, but because if we got post-apocalyptic, I'd have been like, we're fucked. I mean, like we lost. Like, yeah, we would have pulled something out. I'm confident we would have done well, but I think that's just a bullshit genre. Other years they've had road movie. I'm like, that's so specific. Like I can make
gotcha,
like a road trip or something, like Sideways or something. But like a road movie can be a comedy.
Yeah.
A post-apocalyptic movie can be a drama. Oh, there's adventure on here. What does that mean? Adventure? What? How's a post-apocalyptic story not an adventure? How's our story not an adventure? Like in a way, like.
So they need to be more specific about what they want and like shorten it down so that everyone's kind of competing for the same thing, or they have awards for those categories.
Yes, that's exactly what I think.
So,
but I think it's not big enough yet that they can just do awards for those categories, especially because they want to dish out cash.
Well, exactly. So for right now, they need to do what you're saying and make it so that everyone's competing for the same genre and there's not a mixture, because one group of people might be better at the other at a certain genre, and it turns out that they can't do it because they got a different one. And
I think they do this because they don't want you to pre-plan, and it's kind of a way to like throw you off a bit, you know. But
well, that's good though. So like if you don't know what it's going to be and then you go in and it's like you plan for a drama and you get, I don't know. I mean, a drama is really...
It's vague. It's not in there. Vague, it's not. And drama, to be fair, is not one of the ones they do, but comedy is. And like I said, comedy is just, it's like comedy, in my opinion, is like make whatever the hell you want. It just has to have a happy ending.
Yeah, like this podcast. We call it a comedy podcast, and it's just nothing. It's
no jokes. No jokes.
There's no jokes.
This is a joke-free zone since I guess 2017.
We chuckle at ourselves.
I'm fucking hilarious.
That's what makes it a comedy, right?
Are the back of that paper you're holding?
Yeah.
That's our shot
list.
That was like our rough shot list. Does it say crazy car loud on there or something?
Cars crazy loud.
Oh, okay. James kept trying to explain to me. He's like, cars crazy loud. And I was like, what is this? Like Toontown? but I'm with you. I think they need to do one or the other. I think they need to go full in so I'm going to say something I don't think people would like. They either need to give everyone the same genre, like H48, and that's the only thing. That's the only change. You know what I mean? Give everyone the same genre, maybe do like smaller things within that. The second option, they need to drop cash prizes. Because if you drop the cash prizes, the air conditioner turned off. So it was like a powerful, like.
Can you hear that?
Silence.
Really? I didn't pick it up.
I picked it. It's because I'm listening to it now. I got an ear for it lately.
Yeah.
But no, like they need to drop cash prizes because that takes away that like incentive to make it so like.
Can you hear me fidgeting over here then?
A little bit. I can
like throughout.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But it's stuff I like. I listen for. I listen for that stuff now.
Well, I've been holding my piss in for the past half hour.
Do you want to go?
No, it's fine.
You can do it.
No,
or do you want to wrap up?
No, we're good. Let's keep going.
Well, I just think they should drop the cash prizes because I think it makes it like I48 is such a good natured thing. I think it's such a like good intent. You know what I mean? It's the one thing that everybody in the film community has done or is doing. You know what I mean? Like everyone's done it at some point. Like Zach Voss, he's doing big things now. He one of the best I48s I've ever seen was his. And it was called like Beard's Company, and it rocks. And he should be really proud of that.
Yeah.
Garcia Brothers made Hero, and now they're making Hero into like this big thing. Like I48 is awesome, and I think doing things like putting money into it and whatnot, it just doesn't help. It just makes it like more. It just makes it like. I don't know, just unnecessary, I think. I think, and that's the thing, I think of it's different genres too, because then you feel burnt that you lost money because you didn't get a fair genre, which I think is a fair concern to be like, that guy got comedy and he has a better chance of winning $1,000 than me because I have post-apocalyptic.
Yeah.
And I say this thrilled out of my mind about my genre. I think anyone that has silent can win. Like, I think that's, I mean, we got beaten that year by a silent film. And we had comedy, and like I think that's fair. But like, I think when you have like money on the line, and some people do it for money. Like, fuck, dude, I'd love $1,000. I mean, that's what happens if we win. We all split $1,000.
It's $1,000.
Yeah, if you win first, you get $1,000. We got second, so we got 500 that year.
I didn't even know that, and I wasn't even thinking about it.
Exactly.
Like,
but no, and because we don't care about that. Like, I'd like it, but you know, we don't. Because I think we all have a good attitude about that kind of stuff. But if they're gonna put the money out there, they need to make it fairer. So I think the only way to like, because like, you know, when you got something like Kid Zone, they're doing it for fun, right? They're not like, we're gonna fucking win this thing and kick all your asses. I'm 8 years old.
$1,000.
But this first, like the open guys, like, you know, we're all competing in it. We want to win and we want to do well, and it's good natured. Like, we're not like I don't mean to like want to tear anybody down, but we mean it well. So I don't know. I think it needs to change to some degree, and it hasn't changed outside of adding more money or adding more awards. And I was like, we need to change the structure.
If they're gonna, okay, so what if they use that money that we have to pay to get into the competition,
like a gambling pool?
A gambling pool?
Like, oh, I was gonna say like everyone puts it in. Keep going. I cut you off.
So use that money for the awards.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Toward,
that is what I meant then.
Yeah. Okay.
So like, I mean, that is what that is. Like,
yeah.
We all pay $50. It goes in, and the winner wins the pool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what that is.
Is that what it is?
No,
now?
that's not. No, that's not what it is.
Where's this money coming from then?
Well, I bet it is to some degree. I take that back. I bet it is to some degree, but like,
because how many do we have here? 30 times 50 is what? That's why we have cell phones, folks.
Damn it! I turned it off because I knew I'd fidget with it.
Well, whatever it is.
1,500.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay, so that's probably where they get the money from.
Yeah. But they
need the money to actually rent out the venue too, right?
Yeah. So it's $1,000 for the first place, $500 for the second. That's only open. First place in novice, I think, is $500. Second place in novice is $250. Then they're giving $250 for the Boy Screen Bike thing, which is clearly sponsoring them, so that's fine. They've had different sponsors in the past. One year they had.
That's where you should get it, and that's probably what they're transitioning into. Is you should be getting your money from your sponsors.
I agree.
Instead of forking out whatever.
Now they have one prize this year that I want bad. I'm not gonna lie. I want it like nobody's business. First place is your film screens in Sun Valley Film Festival.
Oh yeah.
And I would like that'd be rad. But our film's odd, so I'm not prepared for it to win first place or anything. I don't think it will, but I'm still like, oh, that's a great award.
That's really good incentive. I would rather have that than the $1,000.
I would too. And you get both. You get both if you win.
You get both, yeah. But it's like you're making really good points, and I think that that's something that we shouldn't be working towards, and you should be investing that money back into the community somehow.
I totally
not
agree.
Giving it back to us and necessarily as incentive, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's just not. It's a tiny thing, but it'd just be nice to like re-examine it, because you know what they did a few years ago that I loved. I didn't take advantage of it, but I love the premise of it. Is the Boise Co-op sponsored, and I don't know if I don't know if the deals are the behind the scenes, but as far as I'm aware, the like trade-off for them was filmmakers got like a 5-hour window where they could film in the co-op.
Oh wow.
And I was like, that's a great location. That helps so much. That like cuts one of your problems out. And I think I imagine they would have given like a best use of co-op award, but I don't know if that's true. But they definitely used to give away like a best use of Boise award and stuff like that. So I don't know. I like stuff like that, like making it more community driven for both Boise as a community and like the film scene as a community. I think that can only pay out positively. And I think like making it like a money thing, I don't know, it just doesn't. Of course I'd like to have some extra money in my pocket, but that's not what just I48 is to me, you know? Like it's just an excuse for everyone to get together and just make something awesome and make it under a deadline, so it forces you to just make it and be done with it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it really drives people to be creative, and and you learn a lot.
It's very like inspiring. Like it's the first like ever time I thought of like the Boise film community as like a community was I48.
Yeah.
Because before I was working on sets, I don't even work on that many. You work on way more than I do. But before I was like hitting up sets, before I was working on my own projects with anybody, I did I48. Before I knew about like little Facebook groups that have people in it, I was going to the municipal park. And,
I have a comment about that real quick. Those groups should not be private.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know they were. You're right, though. Yeah, I agree with
they
that.
should not be private. You're only hurting the community by keeping those secret. Why are they secret in the first place? Why would you do that?
I think they like to make it feel inclusive.
They shouldn't.
Like we let you in the group. You're in.
Your egos aren't. They don't support that.
I agree to the nth degree.
I'm calling all of you out if you're listening. You should not be so egotistical to keep those private. Those should be public.
I totally agree. I think it's funny because I think there are people at the center of like this, that like the Boise community that are like cliques suck, but they've made their own clique. You know what I mean? Like it's very hypocritical. And it's hard. I don't want to like totally throw them under the bus, but even though I 100% agree with you, I don't want to totally throw them under the bus, but because like to a degree, filmmaking it's not cliques, but they're teams. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to work with Chase and Ryan on everything and almost anything I do whenever I can. And so, I mean, you could interpret that as a clique, but that's more like my friends I hang out with, but I guess that's what a clique is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. That's something that should be re-examined. Like
for sure. I'm pretty new to this and I've worked with several different crews, and that definitely does happen. And the one thing that I think is holding people back is that they're not going out because they have egos and working with other crews and figuring out, okay, what do they do that makes them successful, or what are they doing that's not making them successful?
Exactly.
And you're learning from both of those things, and you can take that away and apply it to what you do. So you should always get out of your comfort zone. Always. I trust me.
Yeah.
I know what it's like to be comfortable in working with people that like me and I like them. And I know what it's like to work with people that I don't like.
Yeah.
That's really important, that you find what works and what doesn't.
Well, there are people in town, like, unless something like happened to null my feelings about that, I would never want to work with. But I only know that because I worked with them already.
Yeah, you know and that's what I mean.
Like no, you're right. Exactly. Like it's like there are people that I'm like, I don't want to work with this person anymore. And it's strictly because I worked with them and they didn't know what they were doing, or they were hard to work with, or they would like hound me about like, did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do this? I'm like, yes. Did you do anything? No. Big fucking surprise. But you know, like it's everything's earned. Everything is earned, like through all this stuff, and it's just a matter of like, I don't know, like the people in town that are successful are actually like, it's nice because it goes against the Hollywood like idea because Boise's so small. The people in town that are successful are like team players. Like like the Garcia brothers, they do well, and I've heard nothing but positive things about them. Like they do well, they do good work, and they're good to work with, and that helps them. Like that helps them so much. And there are other people that I don't want to work with, and they wonder why they don't do better. And I'm like, I can tell you why you don't do better, because you're too up in your own ass about things. You're too like egotistical about it. Yeah, that's a good word for it. Like, or you're too like concerned about the number one thing holding back the Boise film community is actually something Brandon Freeman said in his first podcast. You know how he said that like there's too many generals thing? Did you hear that? So what he said was, we live in the Boise film community, and there's too many generals. There's too many people that want to run the show and be the hero. And though I mean, this is going to sound like direct, and I'll just say it. Like, I think he puts himself in a general role. Like, he doesn't take his own advice on that. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like we have too many generals, not enough like people out in the field. But no, not me. I'm a general. And I say that, but I say that as well, being someone that likes to run the show as well. You know what I mean? So I'm just as much as I'm like calling him out there for that, I can call myself out for it. But I think there are too many people in Boise that they want to be the hero of Boise. They want to be the one that made this like thing. They want to be like, I made this thing, and I'm the one that saved you. I'm the one that got you jobs. So in 20, 30 years, when people look back, they're like, where'd the Boise film community start? They can be like, you looked at my project. It was me that did it. You know what I mean? I think everyone wants that. And there's nothing wrong with wanting it, but people want it at the expense of helping others. Like,
say that one more time.
So people want they want that like award for being a hero at the expense. Like, they want to be the one to build that award themselves that said like, I saved Boise, and they want to make that like killer film project that like puts us on the map. But they want that to be their project. They don't want it to be your project. They don't want it to be my project. They want it to be their project. And like I said, I say that most often working on my own things, where I direct my own projects or write my own stuff. But these people, like, they just don't want to work with others. They're so hard to work with. And like, that's just what we got to work on. People just need to work on like knowing where they are and how they can grow in that field, because it's true. There is one day going to be a like Boise hero. That's true. That's going to happen. I think there is going to be one project one day. Heck, I think the best thing to come out of Boise so far, it's probably Will Von Toggen's Almosting It.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the best, because it's a feature. It's well done, and it's well made, and it's in Boise.
Yeah, and it's on Amazon.
Yeah. But do you hear him dwelling on that stuff?
No,
do you hear
he never
him,
says one thing.
Do you hear him getting caught up in the drama?
It's because he's not in his head about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he should be praised for that.
That's why he's successful, and that's why he's getting that shit done. So
yep.
Yeah.
He should be praised for that. And because he's not so up in his own head about it. And there are people in town that wonder why they're not getting better. And I'm like, look at who's doing well and ask yourself that.
Yeah.
Like,
why are they doing well?
It's all lessons. Everything is a lesson to some degree. We talk about like every film I've ever done, I can tell you a lesson from it.
Yeah.
And like on this, I learned lessons about working with my crew and everything. If we're talking lessons of storytelling with this, I look at my film and I'm like, I need to be more thoughtful about those like city shots. I need to bridge the line between my metaphors and my physical plot that is happening. And that's a problem I won't make again next time. And I feel like people they won't look at themselves negatively. They only look at themselves surrounded by their accolades. And so I don't know. I'm only so passionate about this because I want Boise to get better.
Yeah.
Like, I've had people like like I kind of scoff at me for making Boise Boys.
What?
Because it's a reality show.
Who's done that?
I'd rather not go into it, but
Okay, we'll
I will later. We'll talk later.
I think they're jealous.
I kind of think they are too, but I don't want to sound like I'm like, you're just jealous of me. You know what I mean? I don't mean to sound like that.
That's the thing though. It is that. That's the thing. So I've been talking to a few people about this, and it's really frustrating because that's exactly what it is, but we're afraid to say that.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to sound like childish almost.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you're getting hate from that, where does that hate come from?
So here's what I think too. I think part of it is because it's a reality show and people think they're too good for that. But that's a job. That's a film community job. That is, I mean, I made the pitch on it, but I PA'd on it, and like it's just a PA job, but that's still like a respectable job.
Yeah.
And we're going to need sound guys if that show gets picked up for a full season. And they're going to need sound guys, and we're going to need people in Boise that know how to do sound, because they want to do all that stuff local. They want local people working on it. And they're going to want sound guys. They're going to want PAs. They're going to want production coordinators. Yep. They're going to want all that stuff. And it's only, I don't know, it's only better if the police take me away. I lived a good life. I'm ready to roll.
You hear that?
I hear it.
Oh, it's gone now.
It's always there inside.
But yeah, I totally agree, man. And I'm proud of you and Ryan for putting that together. And it actually aired on television.
Isn't it crazy?
Super cool.
That we were talking about earlier about like internet TV stuff. Did I tell you? I might have told you this like outside of this, but that changed my perception of TV actually.
How so?
So like we were talking about, we're like, oh, those dumb guys, they should be airing stuff conveniently. Yeah. Because I still believe that. That's still like a strong belief I hold. And we know like cable's dying to some extent because it's going that show that aired on a Sunday morning at like 10 or 11 our time. I think actually it was noon our time. Got 1.3 million views. That's bizarre. And guess what? Not a single commercial for that show. What? They weren't allowed to show commercials for that show. Wow. So without advertising, people just like turning their TV on, 1.3 million people watch that show. Holy shit. And so like when we're like, YouTube's taking over, it's this, I'm like, sorry, man. Well, television's still around. People still have it. It's dying, but not nearly to the degree that we think it is. That's true. That's why like Viacom pulling out of Hulu, that's probably the right call for them. They'll be back. But Viacom? Yeah. When they pulled, they'll probably do their own thing. When they pulled Comedy Central and all that stuff off of Hulu. Yeah. Like, wait, when did they do that? Like 3 months ago. That's why I'm still watching Key and Peele on there. So how they have some stuff on there. Okay. So like Daily Show's not on there anymore. Oh. Like they're not updating with new things. So like if it was on there before, it will. But I on that note as well. I gotta pee. Oh no, you can go pee. I'm also going to. He couldn't hold it in any longer. But our screening for our I48 film is going to be at 12:30 this Saturday. Of the 14 people that signed up, our team, White Font, that's my production LLC, will be airing our film Nearsighted. We're the final film on the schedule. However, there is a film that could potentially go after us if somebody didn't sign up for I48 ahead of time and they just kind of walked up like day of and was like, can I do this? I'm not sure if that happened though. So we're probably the last film, potentially the second to last film. And it is called Nearsighted, about a girl that pretentiously is just done with everybody and is like, I'm rolling out, and just bounces out of society and doesn't go well. So what I miss? No, I just vamped about our screening time and schedule. I practiced my promoing. Good. Because man, I thought that when I finished, I was like, fuck. You want to know something funny? What's that? I'm going to show you the text my mom sent me, because I told my mom after I did it that I was like, oh, I'm going to be on the radio this evening. Uh-huh. And my mom was like, my mom thought I hadn't recorded yet, but I already had.
Yeah.
And read this bottom text that she sent me.
Can I read it out loud?
Yeah, you can read it out loud.
The bottom one?
With the emoji.
For real?
Yeah.
She said that?
Yeah.
Make sure you come off friendly and relatable today.
Kiss emoji.
What?
I mean, she's clearly just messing around with me. But
Is that a joke? Or is she for real?
It's like in the middle. It's like in the middle. It's
being kind of sarcastic.
It's a joke, but really.
I mean, she makes a really good point. I mean, yeah, you should be friendly and relatable because that's what matters.
I mean, I don't think I come across as like, fuck you, fuck you and your fucking radio show.
No, you're not. You're not.
I just think I'm opinionated, and
you're not this person.
Oh, yep. And I love this piece of paper.
Yeah.
Good thing we didn't film this one.
No, that's funny, dude. That's really funny. So you plugged what time the showing is and I48 and all that?
Yep, we're 12:30. We won't know for sure, but we will be. We're scheduled to be the final showing, but like I'd mentioned, there's a space for a walk-up person if they just walked up day of and were like, I'm gonna just do a show now, but I don't think I saw anybody just walk up. So if we're not the last showing, we're the second to last.
Okay. Cool.
Of that first chunk, I would also suggest everyone stick around for the second group of showings as well. I'm planning on going. Actually, I take that back. I'm planning on going. E3 is this weekend, and I have to write about the conferences. You know what's funny is so the first conference is Sunday noon our time. Maybe it's noon or 1.
Okay.
And so right when that ends, I have to run to the flick or to the if we get to the Egyptian, to watch it, and then right when it ends at 8 our time, the next conference starts.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so I'm like running around.
So right when it ends, like all the showings or like everything.
The showings end at 7, and I don't know when the showings end, but they said the after party starts at 7.
Okay.
So I might dip in there for like 30 minutes.
Because like, the past few. I48, H48, you guys like take pictures with the awards and stuff like that. Yeah. So is that happening again?
I've never I've posed with like my friends for like a picture, but like H48 we did like the wall, like the picture wall and everything.
Yeah.
And I never saw that in the past. I think that might have been because it coincided with the Idaho Horror Festival. So I doubt it'll be as much more than like us standing in front and my mom takes a picture of us or something like that.
Okay. All right.
That's probably what it'll be. But yeah. I'll be real. I'm still not confident we're going to walk away with anything. I'm happy with the film, but I'm not confident we'll walk away. That's what I mean. I'm very proud of it. Like it's my most proud. It's my most proud project yet.
Yeah.
But I don't think I don't think we're guaranteed an award at all.
No, you're never guaranteed anything in life. So we'll see.
Maybe $1 million. Like that's coming because I'm entitled to that.
Yes, you're American.
Exactly.
And you're investing in Bitcoin.
Dude, Chase's parents are.
I know I am.
How many coins do you have?
I don't have any, but I'm going to.
Oh, Chase's parents invested 5 Bitcoins like
what?
5 years ago.
No.
Yeah.
They're millionaires.
Maybe it wasn't 5 years ago, but they turned like they have like a 20,000 profit.
Yeah. That's insane right now.
I don't know if he wants me saying that.
Probably not, but who cares?
Yeah.
Just more incentive
saying that.
Do you know how Bitcoin works?
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy how it works?
Yeah.
It's so bizarre. So like, it's worth what right now? $100 some dollars for one?
Let me
or is it 500?
Let me Google it. It's a lot. Okay, Bitcoin.
So I'll tell you this story.
Price.
2012.
$2,735.75 US.
For one Bitcoin.
Yep.
I just watched a video that was made a couple of years ago where he was talking about how one Bitcoin was worth $116. And now it's worth over 2,000. Okay, so
it's like stock market. I can understand.
Yes. In 2012, I was hearing about Bitcoin, and I was this close to getting some investments in Bitcoin.
Oh man, you should have done it.
I should have, because I was listening to other people. I was talking to my dad. I was talking to a bunch of my family members. Like, have you heard of Bitcoin? We should invest in Bitcoin. And everyone was like, I don't know what that is. It's not backed. It's not safe. It's not guaranteed. Shouldn't do it. Back in 2012. If I would not have listened to them,
you would have.
I was planning on investing $100 into Bitcoin.
Oh wow.
in 2012.
Mhm.
Just $100. It's nothing. I have. What would that be worth right now?
What was it in 2012?
For one Bitcoin, I think it was like $12.
Yeah. Well, let's see. 12 times. And you're doing $100.
$100 in 2012.
Ooh.
So for 12,
It's two. It's like $2.5 million.
almost $3 million.
Yeah.
That's why you never listen to anyone when you have a gut feeling about something.
About something like that too. Yeah. Well, like Chase's parents, it must have been a little after that then, because it was. It must have been a bit more than that, because they're definitely making good money. They're definitely making really good money, but it's not like millions.
So
Fuck, man.
does it work like, I know you have to have it on your computer, and it's based off of, is it based off of how much activity is happening on your computer?
Like how much it's worth?
Yeah, no, how much you what's it called? Mining. It's what it's called. Mining.
Oh, that I don't understand. I don't understand that aspect
So
of it.
from what I understand, mining, when you have mining running on your computer, what it's doing is it's keeping track of what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Oh, like data
Transaction.
mining. Yes.
Like all that stuff.
Yeah, I understand that.
So that's how Bitcoin makes money.
Oh.
And what we're doing right now is how Bitcoin makes money.
Yeah.
By me saying, have you heard of Bitcoin?
I just like, bing, you said
Bing.
Bitcoin.
Yeah. And that's how it makes money.
Bitcoin.
And bit comes from bits of data.
Mhm.
Bitcoin. So it's I've been getting into it lately, and I should have invested back in 2012, because I would have a lot of money right now in my Bitcoin bank.
It's
And the reason why it's
nuts.
taking off right now is because of what's happening in China.
Yeah. I've heard that.
If you haven't, I'm not going to go into it because it's too complicated.
I don't fully understand. I've just heard it. I should say.
Go research Bitcoin and what's happening in China right now.
One of these days we'll have to have you talk to Chase, because he knows his like fucking stuff with that.
Yeah.
He really knows his stuff with that.
I'm jumping on the ball on this one for sure.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things too where you kind of get nervous about it, because
I mean, it goes up and down. You'll definitely at some points you'll feel you might lose money, but enough of them you'll be making it.
well, it's based off of how much your power bill is and how much you invest.
Mm-hmm.
So if you invest only like $100 for that year, well, how much is your power bill going to be?
Whoa, I actually don't. Okay, maybe I thought I knew Bitcoin, but you're changing this completely. I'm gonna go deep now.
So it's crazy. The scary thing is that it's not backed by anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So you have complete freedom in how it's used.
Wow.
There's no government regulation or anything like that. No banks. So that's where it becomes scary, because at any moment it can just shut off and your money's gone. That's the scary part.
Oh,
The other thing is they don't know who actually started it.
oh wow.
They don't know they have a name,
But they don't know what that means.
but
Like,
they don't know. They don't have
like
a face
Mike.
to match it.
They're like, Mike, who the fuck is Mike?
Yeah.
Mike that made Bitcoin.
Yep. And then, so yeah, it's based off of word of mouth.
Mm-hmm.
How much money is it making right now? Well, one Bitcoin's worth $2,000.
That's
Oh
insane.
my gosh, I'm going to invest. Guess what?
Oh,
Bitcoin just went up again.
really popped my neck right in that
Yeah,
mic, didn't I?
that.
That's a bad habit of mine. All right, sorry.
I do that too. Not today. But yeah, I mean, what else was there? Just the amount of power that's being used. So, I remember what I was going to say. What happens when the grid shuts down? What happens when the power goes off?
Mm-hmm.
The money is gone. There's no way for you to actually pay for anything anymore.
Have you seen Mr. Robot?
No. Is it good?
It's my favorite show right now on TV.
Okay.
It's like Breaking Bad level good.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
that's like a big premise of it. The premise of the show is this guy that's like computer hacking guy.
Uh-huh.
He gets hired like as like security for like security for like IT, like for like big companies like banks and stuff. And the show is about him like shutting down like every debit card in the world, like every bank account in the world. He's going to shut down. So like banks have no money. And there's one scene in it that is really good where he's like, he holds this like all this money for ransom, and he tells this banker, he's like, I'll let you do it if you do this stuff. And he makes this banker wear their like mask, like the hacking group has like a mask, kind of like anonymous. And he makes him walk out to the middle of this street in like central, like kind of like around Central Park. And he's like, I'll give you next instruction when you get there. He gets there and he finds a duffel bag of money or he either has one or he brought it with him as like the ransom money. And then they make him burn it in like Times Square, like in the middle of like New York. Like they make him just burn all the money. And they're like, if you don't burn it in 10 seconds, the money, every dollar you own is gone forever. And it's like this just great scene. Like I really recommend it. But of course, not streaming anywhere. It might be on Amazon Prime, but you have to like pay for Amazon.
Well,
like,
guess what? I have Amazon Prime, baby.
No, I mean like it's on Amazon, not the Prime.
Yeah, I got that.
No. So like you got to pay for it. You got to pay for the episodes.
What?
You got to buy the episodes.
You have to pay for each episode?
Yeah. I caught them I watched them like they had them free. The first season free on Prime at one point, but now they
weird.
don't. Yeah, it is weird.
You have to pay for an episode?
You have to pay for the whole season because it's not like it's not made for Amazon Prime. It's made by USA, but they put it on Amazon. Like you buy it like through the store. You buy something like, through like the iTunes store.
Oh, those little turds! They tricked me.
It sucks. It sucks hard, but I love it. Can't recommend that enough.
So, invest in
that and Black Mirror and Bitcoin.
Yeah,
that's what you should title this episode: Black Mirror and Bitcoin. Oh man.
All right, buddy.
Cool.
So where can people find you?
So I have a website for all my like film stuff called whitefont.com or whitefontmedia.com. Some fucker has whitefont.com.
Yep, always happens.
And I've got my I48 shorts on there. We'll probably put Netflix and Kill on there very soon. That's wrapping up. Okay. Ryan just finished the credits the other day.
Wow.
And a like killer shot that we've been planning.
Are you gonna have some sort of like payment thing so that people can pay to watch it?
Nah, we're just gonna put it out there because this is kind of like a jumping off point for our next project.
Well, are you going to submit it to festivals or anything? Really?
No. We deliberately break copyright law on some things, but it's like for the story.
Okay.
Because we want to just make it. You know what I mean? We want to just make it and put it out there, and then the next project we're hoping to get some income from like festivals. That's called Weekend at Mom's. That's like my next big project, and I'm very excited about that. Okay. And you can also check my games writing stuff at kidsworld.com. That's kidsworld with a Z. It's you know what? It's easy to like be like that site like that is dumb, but like it's gotten me so much games writing like buzz. So I do game reviews on there. And what review do I have coming up? Oh, I have Guardians of the Galaxy, the Telltale games, episode 2 that comes out. I'll have that review up within a week.
All right, on.
And I have a review of the Crash Bandicoot remaster coming soon.
Really?
As well. Yep.
Cool, man.
So yeah, that's what I'm up to.
And then any Twitter handles, Facebook, Instagram, anything like that you use?
My Twitter and Instagram is just at I am Max Cannon. My Facebook, I just kind of keep that for my friends. Like I kind of keep that I like to keep that a little personal, and it's not even that great.
Good.
So
that's always good.
Yeah. So
all right, man.
Yeah. Thanks for having me do this with you, dude.
Well, I'm happy you came in, dude. We'll have you on another time to talk gaming.
Dude, I'll do
because you're a gamer.
I can talk gaming all day.
Let's do it, man.
All right, right on. Thanks, man.
Mm-hmm. And that's all, folks. So if you guys are interested in coming to watch the short films at I48, the first showing is going to be on Saturday, June 10th at 12:45. You want to be there about 12:30 if you're going to make it. It's going to be really cool. A lot of cool short films to see here. There's going to be about 14 screening at 12:30 p.m. and they're going to be roughly between 3 to 6 minutes a piece. And then the next showing is going to be at 2:30 p.m. on Saturday at the Flicks in downtown Boise. So you can look that up on the I48 website, or you can just type in Flicks movie theater and you should get directions that way. Let's see here. And then Sunday is going to be the best of screening and awards ceremony at the Egyptian Theater downtown. Everybody in Idaho knows what the Egyptian Theater is. It's a classic place to go and watch movies. So that's where that's going to be. They always put on a good show. It's always fun, and you get to see the best of. And tickets are $5 on Saturday, and tickets will be $7 on Sunday. So if you're interested, let me know. Maybe I'll get you some tickets or something. We'll see. And the one on Sunday is going to be starting at 5 p.m. All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, peace.